Okay, I'm not sure who's with me, who's with us still, or what's going on, but I know I'm having some computer problems, so I'm gonna try to get through this real fast. Um, Bear with me 1 second, guys. I know I lost everyone. I'm trying to get it set back up. It's been tough the last few days. This is where I'm lacking on my computer game. It's been really, really tough. Hold on 1 second. Bear with me. All right, privacy. We're good there. I'm gonna send it over to Messenger again for the family Wyatt-Live family group. What up again, AP? What's good, bro? I see you back at us. Um, I'm gonna share it again, once again. Share it to the page, to Wyatt-Live page, to the personal page. I've been having some issues with this. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I'm gonna send it to some groups. A few of these groups aren't messing with us, but that's okay. I'm used to that. I'm used to the grind. I'm not mad at anyone. I might even talk about that for a hot second. But I'm here. We here. Happy Thursday. What's good? Good. Brenda Early came back in. AP is here with us. We'll wait and see how many other people jump in. Let's give it a second. I do apologize for that. Give me a couple. Give me a couple ticks. I'm just letting some people know that we're here. Just give me a couple ticks. Make sure that the privacy is good. All right. Looks like we're Gucci. Look like we're good. Look like it. Let's see. Now we just wait for some more people to get in, and then we'll get at it. So I do appreciate those coming in today, and I apologize for the computer situation. I do apologize. Just blame me. It's my fault. Not the computer. It's not internet. It's not Facebook. It's me. I'm self-checking. It's my fault. I'm not able to see the comments here. Facebook user, hey brother, we here. I'm not quite sure who that is. What's good, Facebook user? It's not allowing me to see any of the comments on the screen, but we'll do what we do. You know, the other day, let me see. I don't even know if it's going to the page. It is. It's showing that it's going to the page, so we're gonna go ahead and rock from here. What's good? Is it Friday Eve? Oh, my sister. Okay, and now it's showing up. Thank you. My sister Thea Williams. What's good? Did they tell you that I went in on you yesterday? Was it yesterday? No, it was the day before yesterday. It wasn't so much I went in on you, sis. I just told our truth. The conversation we had away when I was, when you called me, when you reached out. I missed your call, but I called you right back. You were sitting there making that money, so I didn't want to get too long-winded. I didn't want to rub your face in it too long. What up, D Brown? What's happening? That's my nephew, y'all. I didn't want to rub your face in it too long, sis. When you called me and was like, "What you doing?" Dig. You know, women hate to tell men when they right. Y'all hate that shit. Especially a man that you know is gonna let you know about it. You know what I mean? You don't want a man to tell you shit. AP says, and then I'm gonna get back to my point of getting at my sister. I gotta let her know. I hope she's sitting in the salon with a chair full of people, and I hope they sitting on the bench waiting to be seen. And I hope you got some other people working in the shop and sitting there listening to this shit. Put it on the big screen at the hair salon. Put this shit on the big screen because I gotta let people know what happened. I gotta let people know about that. Oh yeah. So AP says lifeguards needed for Cincinnati pools. The news just says 750 sign-on bonus approved for them. 750 for a lifeguard. Okay, that's a sign-on bonus. Everybody's giving sign-on bonuses. Shit, they giving sign-on bonuses to work at McDonald's to fry French fries. They giving sign-on bonuses for every job that you can think of right now. All you got to do is ride down the street, go to Route 4 in Cincinnati, up in Fairfield, and look at all those factories up there that got factory work. Everybody hiring. Everybody is hiring, and everybody got a sign-on bonus, and everybody is weak. Where are all the workers at? You can't tell me. See, this is what some people say. The chaos agents say, everybody tired of working in them restaurants because of the mistreatment. I see down the street companies starting at $23 an hour, and they got a $1,500 sign-on bonus as long as you stay so long. You can't tell me all these companies that got sign-on bonuses, they're lacking people because they were once a bad employer. Nobody wants to work for them because they were bad. The company is making too much money and they're not giving us any of the money. That's ridiculous. That just sounds like some chaos agent shit to me. I know, we ain't gonna go all the way through it. My sister, Miss Williams, she says, that's okay. You was right. I had to confess. I hated it. Well, I loved it. Damn it. You know why I'm not going to make a real big deal of this, sis? Because I love my brother who you married to. And I don't want to make it tough for Donnie. All right? I ain't going to make it tough for my brother. Because his ass was probably sitting back agreeing with me without telling you. So I'm going to fall back. And I shouldn't even have said that. I should not have even said that. I should have just said nothing about that. But for y'all that don't know, here's what happened real fast. My sister, Athea Williams, called live on the air and gave me the business when I went in on Jada Smith, who happens to still be on my wall. I went in on Jada Smith because of what Will did. I'm not going to talk about that. I just want to tell y'all how this shit rolled out. Angela Kinney's in the building. Joyce Bell is in the building. What's good? Queens, boy, it's royalty in here today. Listen, I know what I was saying was right. Will is distressed. He is in a toxic relationship, and I was the first one to say it, and everybody was like, oh, shit, there he is hating on the black women and this and this and this and that and all that old shit. He trying to be some Kevin Samuel type shit, R.I.P. to that brother. It was never that. Y'all even got mad at Fame because he came on here and was lightweight telling some secret truth. I told y'all there were brothers. Pouncey, what's good? There was brothers that just wasn't going to say shit. Because number one, it's embarrassing to say that you're being bullied or manipulated or you being, a woman is controlling you mentally. That's a little tough for a man to say publicly. But there were men who have experienced this situation that looked at that Will Smith. Let me tell you what gave it away. What gave it away was this right here. What gave it away was when Will laughed at the joke, because it was a joke. And everybody thought it was funny, but her motherfucking ass. And all of a sudden, he turned into John Legend, the legend dude who fought the mummies and shit, the dead people. He turned into him all of a sudden. He turned character. That was not even Will Smith that was up there. He turned into a character. I told you he was playing several roles that night. He was playing Mr. Goodbar, Will Smith, all night up until that point. And then when Chris Rock said what he said, here, I'm not mad at Will. I feel sorry for Will. There's a lot of us who understand the fuck he going through. And now more videos are popping out where she kind of dogging him, lightweight dogging him, and you didn't see because you thought they was on some playful shit. She got the video camera in their house, and she put him on blast about, the doctor said we needed some help. Do it look like it's working? And say this shit about the red tape. She's trying to use him like she lightweight, using him for clout. I'm like, he said it. This is my home. I use social media for work. Stop playing. Don't bring that up in my house. The man looking at the ground. He looked like he's being bullied. He can't even look her in his eyes. What man can't look his woman in the face? I tell you what man can't look his woman in the face. A manipulated man, a man that's scared, a man who's trying to keep the peace. He can dog her. I promise you he could dog her. I'm not saying he should. I'm not suggesting that that's what he should do. But I don't think set it off and what was the girl name? What was the doctor name and shit? The hospital movie she had going on for a little Hawthorne. I don't think none of those residuals paying those type of bills that they got out in California. Cause Will and them got some shit. They got some nice stuff. I don't think Jada has that kind of money, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But if Will, and that could be another reason why Will don't really want to break off and do some things. Because he, other than the manipulation, he might not want to break her off half. He may not want to break her off what she got coming. Fuck it, I'd rather be miserable than to give you my bread. That might be how he feel. I mean, that wouldn't be me, but for each his own. I ain't starred in a movie either. I ain't made $20 million in the movie business. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. People do different shit. Handle the same stuff. We all handle differently. But yeah, let me get back to my sister. I got the fish on the hook and I'm not going to release it. I'm going to throw her back in the water and let her swim and let her make some points another time and let her keep everybody going up on me and how wrong I was and all that old shit. See, respectfully, sis, what you should have done, can I give you a piece of, can I tell you? Can I tell you what you really should have did, sis? If you really wanted to show me how right I was, you should have just called into the show. Because I let you talk for like a day, 2 days, and you talked for an hour. You were my co-host for 2 shows. And everybody was like, his ass on the ropes, girl. He on the rope. Remember all that shit? I let niggas get fly. I be tripping. And I was like, oh, and I was missing all them punches. That wasn't nothing. I was brushing that shit off my shoulder. Remember all that? And if you ever notice, everything that I've been told that I say is ridiculous and this and this and that, we're even back to the election, during the debates and all that old shit. Is that shit not coming to truth? Anybody heard from Cardi B lately? Remember when Cardi B was co-signing? Was co-signing for Biden? Didn't she do a bit of a commercial for Biden and shit? I won't get my taxes lowered. Vote for Biden. He a good man. Remember that shit? Anybody getting lower taxes? Not only are you not paying lower taxes, you're paying the same taxes, but now you're being taxed on all your purchases. From gas to groceries. From groceries to gas. I went to the grocery store yesterday. I came out with 3 little bitty ass plastic bags. Y'all know them raggedy ass plastic bags that they give you. My bill was $92. I bought 3 cases of water, and since them damn things were heavy, I felt like I accomplished something. Yeah, I sweated getting them in the car, and then when I took them out of my car into the garage, because I keep all my bottled water in the garage in a little area, I sweated getting that shit up against the wall. So I figured, all right, my $92 was worth something. Let me take my 3 little bitty ass bags in the house. My fruit, $92 worth of nothing. Yeah, gas gonna be $5 by the end of the month. That's $5 for the people that put that regular shit in there. You already damn near tipping $5 if you got a premium, if you doing premium. And if you ain't been to the grocery store in a month, you gonna learn when your ass get there. Some people only shop once a month. Some people do it. They go to the big box clubs and shit like that because they have a large family. But I'm one of those guys that I go to the grocery store probably twice a week. I don't shop for a whole lot. My wife and I, we don't do that. We got grown-ass kids now. We got a one that's not in the house up at Ohio State with her own little apartment. And then we got a 17-year-old who thinks she doing the same. She just thinks she just doing whatever the hell she want to do. She coming and going. Got her a little car now. Y'all didn't know. I didn't want to put all that business out there. But she got a jet black one. For those that know how we roll, she got a jet black one. And now she's all like, I'm going to be at my friend's house. I'm going to do this. I'm going to practice, Dad. But after practice, I'm going to this and I'm going to do that. Good. Great. Great. But that's what we work hard for, isn't it? We do the shit for our kids that our parents never could do for us. Or the things that your parents did, you expect to do the same thing for your children. At least that. Speaking of that, let's talk about that for a hot second. My sister, Athea Williams, I'll be back to you here in a second. Are you still here? Tell my brother Donnie we'll catch up later. He called me while I was down in Florida. He called me, and we had a short conversation. I told him I was going to call him back, tell him I hit him back. That's my fault. Tell him it was me. Tell him I had some things I had to take care of. That's my fault. Speaking of children, she said, I'm here. Thank you. Speaking of children, I put a post up. I don't know if I had that post on I don't think I saved it up so I could. No. Wait a minute. Let me see. I think so. Yeah, I said, if you were in control of $90 million, what would you do for your community? Listed below. You know how many responses I got on this? You know what's funny about people? People don't want to acknowledge you. But every time, I can't go to the barbershop without somebody saying, yo, I'll be checking out that Wyatt-Live. No, you don't. You probably do, but why you don't say something? Why you don't say what's up? Why you don't say, hey, checking in? Because we live in a world of support. If somebody see you supporting, they don't want to feel out of place. They don't want to be the first one to step up and be like, I rock with that. They want to fall back and wait for everybody else to jump on. Then they want to be like, yeah, I was with that shit a long time. I seen the birthday cake of the show from the first year. I was part of all that shit. Come on. But I did ask a question. And in that question, AP says, Bengal kick off the season against the Steelers. So, I don't like the Steelers. I can't wait. I'm just playing. Keisha, what's good? Checking in. AP, we'll talk about that in a minute, for real. I want to talk about that. The Steelers ain't going to be shit. They ain't going to be shit. They ain't got no quarterback. They ain't going to be shit. They a ways off. Love it. Going to kick the shit out of them. Kick the mess out of them. Excuse my language. But anyway, thank you, Keisha, for checking in. Thank you. But anyway, when I put post up, and I look for response sometimes, man. Just get engaged. You don't have to call the show. You don't have to do none of that, man. Now here come the responses. Maybe you didn't see it on the show, on the page. Jared says, I would fund after-school programs and summer programs for children. So would I. You know, I only had 3 or 4 responses. And maybe 20 or 30 thumbs ups or sad faces or angry and some type of acknowledgement. Okay? But what trips me out is I think people are afraid to show that they're engaged with some of these issues and problems. Why? You don't have to be vocal like me. I risk a lot being here. Linda Matthews checking in. Now, that's a queen. Listen, it's funny that I'm sitting here talking about people not being engaged and not saying anything. Linda Matthews put her feelings out on posts when it come down to answering questions like that. Or when she send me shit too. And I'm not just saying this or trying to, pump her up because she agrees with me on a lot of issues. I'm saying this because sometimes, no matter where you are in life, sometimes your perspective and how you feel about things, sometimes you feel alone. Like, I've been in crowded rooms and I feel like I'm by myself. I just feel like I'm in the wrong place sometimes. Well, Linda makes me feel comfortable being me by her responses. She don't agree with everything, but she's usually right here with me, and I usually know what her mindset is on some of the things that I say. So thank you, Linda. I can appreciate those that oppose some of my topics or oppose some of my points. I get it. I'm not here to be everything for everybody, but it does feel good. Oh, there's my man Steven Speed jumped in. What's good? Here's what happened. When I put a post out like this, I'm just going to put it up there once again, and I'm going to talk over it so you guys can read it. I'm going to read it once again. Question: if you were in control of $90 million, what would you do for your community? Listed below. Now, that's a very simple, basic question, right? But you have so many people that are cynical. Like, they always think I'm capping. See, back in my day, capping meant I was talking about your mama, or capping on your shoes or your clothes or some shit. But to be honest with you, I'm just trying to use today's terminology. I'm just trying to use today's way of using capping. Like, I'm capping. Like, this mean I'm shooting a shot at Black Lives Matter. Well, y'all know how I feel about Black Lives Matter. I've always told you. And then, of course, I was a coon, and I was all the other things that you wanted to call me when I expressed my feelings about an organization that was around a lot longer than you probably thought, but built traction off of tragedy. And I watched college funds not be formed. I watched a whole lot of things that should have been done. So now you take my question and you frame it as me shooting a shot at Black Lives Matter because it was the same dollar amount. I was affiliating it, but what I was trying to do was set some type of bar. And what I was trying to do was say to you and ask you, because I know what I would do if I had 90 million to go towards whatever I wanted to go through for my neighborhood. I know what I would do. But what I wanted to do was put a list together. I wanted to put a list together of the things that the public, the people, the Wyatt-Live family, what would you do? And then I was going to compare that list to what actually has been done. Oh, this ain't going to feel good to a few people. That's probably hurting some feelings for those that think that I'm tap dancing or trying to be disrespectful on someone. But I'm not. But the truth is, certain things are coming to light about all that money as well. And it's not hard for me. All I do is follow the money. I don't follow my heart. I don't follow how I feel about my people. I don't do that. I follow the money and I follow my common sense. And when I don't see certain things being formed, or when I see property being bought in a residential area and you call it a headquarters, that don't play too well with me. You can run that off on somebody who you done manipulated their mind and you done stole their heart on issues. But I'm not that vulnerable. I'm not that vulnerable. You can't play on my emotions when it come down to the truth. So what I wanted to do was I wanted my very smart, intelligent people to put a list together of the things that you would do if you were controlling $90 million. And I was a little disappointed. I was disappointed that I was not getting feedback. And there's a reason why. I'm going to say one of two reasons why. I'm going to say three. Either you didn't see it, I'll give you an out. You didn't see my post because they don't go to everybody. Or you seen it, didn't want to say shit, because if you say something, you know what you would do hasn't been done yet. And now you like, I don't want to get in that shit. I don't want to have nothing to do with that. I don't want to put my name on nothing that's going to tell the truth. Or number three, you just don't do shit like that. You just don't. Maybe you'd keep the 90 million and you would be just as selfish as the 90 million was being selfish on. You would do exactly what's being done, and you just don't want to share that. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not upset at the fact that it didn't get a lot of traction. I'm upset that I only got 3 responses, but the responses that I got were not in the direction that I was looking for. That's what you would do. That's great. And I didn't say any, the 3 responses that I seen, maybe 4, I was okay with every last one of them. I think my man Justin came in and he was like, I would fund trade school. I would make sure vocational school or something like that was happening in the public school system and blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, now that's the direction I'm talking about. But one thing I didn't hear anybody say that was my number one tool, my number one thing that I would have done was create jobs. No one said put anybody to work. No one said I would start any type of business that would allow anybody to start working. I didn't hear any of that. I heard a whole bunch of programs. I heard a whole lot of programs, but that don't mean programs aren't good. See somebody put up here, Jared says I would Rosemary Babies would be funded. I understand what Rosemary Babies is. I understand. I would, of course, out of $90 million, I would find programs just like Rosemary Babies, and I would do the same thing. She said she has a statistic, that's very impressive. I am a proactive person. I'm not a reactive person. So Rosemary Baby is a situation that I would be a little ahead of the curve. I appreciate what the sister does, and I would definitely support her as I do now. I haven't supported financially, but morally and support like on the channel, I would do that. But I will say this, I'm more of a proactive person. I am the type of guy who wants to catch the teenage girls before they become pregnant. I need to do something so they won't even indulge in the behavior. But there are going to be situations where young ladies are going to need help because you can't reach each one of them. I'm proactive. That's not knocking her at all. You need people that are reactive, okay, after the fact, because what's done is done. But I'm a little bit more, how can we catch these young ladies? What can we put in these young ladies' life so they won't even go through this situation? But one thing Rosemary Babies, she said, the founder said, she said that out of 1,200 young ladies that she has helped, only 3 have had a child after they assisted her, after the foundation assisted the young ladies. Out of 1,200, only 3 of them have, gotten pregnant again as a teen. That's amazing. That's amazing. How could I not support that? How can I not support that? But I'm a proactive dude. If I was to fund anything, it would be how do we stop the young ladies from being in that position? Now, everybody has to play a position, and her position is after the fact. I get it. I'm on board with helping that as well. Not to mention your $90 million was tax-free. So you don't have to give Uncle Sam $45 million, or in this case, probably about $35 million. This is a 501c. This is a nonprofit organization. All right, so let me do this. Let me go back to a couple of the chats because I did see a couple that I wanted. Okay, Keisha says, and this was a while ago, so I'm sorry, Keisha. I'm just catching up on the chat. She said, I would build low-income housing, work with homeless. That's a great idea. In your community, because the question was in your community, what would you do? And of course, I had the few people that wanted to be, I don't want to call them smart asses, but they were kind of reaching for a debate. And it's healthy. But let me just say, I heard some people making comments like, what community are you referring to? Because there's a whole lot of different communities. I could be part of the LGBTQ community, the gay community. I could be part of my church community. I mean, I heard all that shit. But I think we all know. We're talking about your community, your ethnic community, the one that you support more than any other community. Maybe not. Maybe you support your church community more than you do your community that you live in. I don't know. Maybe I was wrong. Let's see. Linda says, keep teaching and speaking truth. We all need it these times. We all need it in the times that we're living in. Okay. Well, I appreciate it, Linda. You know I'm always say what I say. These cats may want to ignore me like I'm not here, but that's okay. That's not what I do it for, to be honest with you. They want to ignore me. I mean, I pay attention to the ignore. You got to understand, when people ignore you, there's a reason why. I'm not a dumb dude. Like, it's not like I'm out here setting fires, starting shit, and throwing rocks and hiding my hand. I don't do that. I'm not out in the community talking bad on these dudes that's doing shows from podcast to radio. I don't talk bad about them specifically. I might have something to say about the topic. And I'm from the world of, if I don't like what you're saying, or if I don't agree. If I don't agree with what you're saying and you don't want to give me no time, shit, okay. Y'all, I told y'all, if you don't want me in your house, you don't want me in your swimming pools, you don't want me in your restaurants, I'll build my own. So here we are. Welcome to Wyatt-Live. So when they talk about shit, like I'm going to talk about one of the topics that I heard a little bit on today. You know, I can give it about 5 minutes, 10 minutes when it's when it's okay, when it's mellow. I can give a topic 10 minutes. But I'm going to be honest with you. Pay attention to those that ignore you. Oh, yeah. If you were really ignorant and stupid, they would give you attention. You know why they would give you attention? Because they want other people to see how ignorant and stupid you are. Oh, yeah, sure, go over there and look at him. Watch. Hey, y'all, matter of fact, he come on at such and such time. Y'all should go check that shit out. You should go check that shit out. He be preaching, knowing it's the okie doke move. It's the go on over there and listen to that bullshit. It's going to make you love me even more. That's what that shit is. But the simple fact that they ignore you, that's even better. That means you're doing the right thing. That means you're doing the right thing. They fear you. That's like the person at work, the one that's always trying to get you in trouble. They're afraid that you might do their job better than they can do it. They don't want you to get any traction. And that's the truth. And that's part of the divide. Everybody's scared to be replaced. No one has enough confidence in their skills that they feel comfortable bringing people along with them. They're afraid that somebody might out-lyrics them, you know, like in rap. You know, you can't put Drake on I ain't paying Drake. I got to pay this dude to be a feature on me. He going to smoke me on my own record. Pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention to those that I give everybody love. I mention everybody. And that's because I show the respect. That don't mean I agree with everything, but I give them their respect. Can everybody say that? Can everybody say that? Some say, out of sight, out of mind. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Let me read a couple of these messages. Give scholarships to startup businesses like a 20,000 real capital from the trust interest. I understand that. Now, let me bring this one to you, Linda. Have you heard about this new Lincoln and what is that? Lincoln and what is that fund? They got it up in Walnut Hills. It's the Lincoln and McMillan or something like that fund that they're doing for minority companies, for minority businesses. Can somebody put that up on the screen? Can somebody put that up on the screen for me on what it's called? The Lincoln and Gilbert. Thank you, Stephen Speed. Lincoln and Gilbert Fund. Okay, now I know you're gonna be mad at me when I tell you my truths about it, because you're gonna say, "Well, damn, Wyatt, do you think positive about anything? I just see a few holes. I see a few holes in the gap." Don't talk business. Don't talk all that business shit if you don't expect a businessman to critique it. See, a lot of people don't understand that things are put in place to show effort. It may not achieve everything that needs to be done, but it shows effort. One of the things I learned about social nonprofit organizations is this. They get a lot of money, a lot of grant money in. And what they don't spend out of the grant money, they have to return it, or they can't get the same amount the next time. But let me just say this to you. There's a scale for this particular Lincoln and Gilbert, or Gilbert and Lincoln, whichever one it is. I'm not sure how it is. I just listened to someone explain how it's working. I don't know all the intricacies, but all I can tell you is this. I know that it was a $10,000 max or some shit like that. I could be wrong about that, but I heard $2,500 if you've been in business for so long, and then I heard it escalates. It's a scale. And this is for people who have already been in business. This isn't a startup. And here's what confused me a little bit. And if you can straighten me out, please help me. But $2,500 to an existing business is not putting them in an economical position to further themselves. I would think that a $2,500 grant to a upstart would boost Black-owned businesses. A $2,500 gas card, so to speak, for an existing business that is doing XYZ amount of money, because there were scales on it. If you make XYZ amount of money a year, it was like if you were doing $100,000 a year or whatever. I don't know the numbers, but I should have wrote it down. I just was looking at some of the gaps, and I'm like, wait a minute. This is supposed to make more Black-owned businesses in the city of Cincinnati? But this is for people that already exist. These are companies that already exist. And all it was some money that was almost like it was just going to get you by for a month. It was not significant amount of money. And I know I'm not trying to, listen, I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm just saying, man, stop falling for this bullshit about somebody helping you when it's not really help. It's a fucking smoke screen. How do you make more business? You create more businesses. You don't give to those that are already existing and then give them tell me one business that's doing $100,000 a month in revenue where $2,500 is going to make a big difference. And I think the maxed out scale was like 10,000. And I don't even think it was that. I think you had to be in the excess of $1 million plus. $10,000 is not a lot of money. It's like this. Let me put it into something that I know surely about, because I don't know this Gilbert and Lincoln program to the point where I feel like I should. I just remember the numbers don't add up to equality. It don't. To me. Let me put it into a term like this. If I was to get a $10,000 student loan relief piece of money, like Joe Biden said, 10 grand, that is not going to be enough to do what he says it's for. Joe Biden said free college. All right, I'm going to let him slide on that shit. Y'all know how I feel about that. Free college is not $10,000. Here's the point of even having free college, they say. It brings the equity, it brings the deficit in the disparity down. $10,000. Okay, Mr. Biden, I promise you, I can show you my emails right now of approval. I paid $10,000 just the other day. Y'all heard me say this. $10,000. I just took out another student loan for my daughter. It was like $9,600 just for 4 summer classes. Mr. Biden, how does that's just one summer. How are we going to catch up with a $10,000 grant of college? You can't sell me on that. The numbers don't read right to me. I'm not a guy that says free much. Free is not in my vocabulary. But that's the only way you're going to make up the disparity. Is you have to be able to provide an education that has no cost to it for an individual for you to even say that it's going to separate the divide in the economic divide of America. I'm just being honest with you. $10,000 is like my daughter, your daughters and your sons can get a $10,000 grant. If they get $2,500 grants, if they searching for grants, they can get four $2,500 grants and match what he calls free college. A lot of kids are doing that. You can't call $10,000 free college. And then that is not separating the economic disparity between the two folks. How dare you insult my intelligence like that? And I say the same thing about this free ass money that you think you're giving to companies, existing companies. Come on now, let's be real. What company you know that's doing an excess of $100,000 a year in revenue? $2,500 is going to make. It's going to make a difference for them. $2,500 is good money for anybody, but I'm talking business, okay? $2,500. Here's my thing. I appreciate it. I appreciate it if it was in good faith. But the simple fact that your explanation of what it's for is some bullshit, then I have to say to you, I'm going to have to use one of my guys, one of my favorite guys from radio. I'm going to have to use Glenn Williams' famous words. I respectfully disagree. I disagree. It's ingenuous. It's not genuine. It's just not. You can't. Now, if you were telling me these grants for upstarts was for startups, that would be different. If you were telling me get a business plan, put your business plan together, we're going to do startups. That's how you create new business. That's how you're going to get the disparity rate closer. I mean, you're going to scale it out when you're creating more, not giving an existing one not even a hand up. I don't want to sound ungrateful. That's not what I'm saying to you. But I want, when you put programs together, if they're structured not to help you, then don't rock me to sleep with the fake ass love and shit. And unfortunately, I seem to be the only one that wanna. I'll be the bad guy. Fuck it. I'll be the guy that put it out here. Now, there's some people right now that's saying, Wyatt, I'll take that money. Well, shit, I would too. But you got to understand, it's not going to do what you think it's going to do. It was a cushion for a month. Let me tell you something. If you got $100,000, to be honest with you, in revenue in a year is less than $10,000 a month, right? So that's a quarter. Well, that's a little bit. It's a third of what you're doing in a month. One time. Let's make it make sense, folks. Make it make sense. How is a third of what I'm making in 1 month gonna be good for me for an entire year as a business? What is it gonna allow me to do? I get $2,500. Okay, I can put a new sign up. That'll generate marketing. Maybe I'll do a Facebook ad. Maybe I'll do a marketing blast and put my company out there a little bit. Maybe that's what I can do, and it'll up my revenue. It'll get my business out there more. That's one way of looking at it. That's definitely one way of looking at it. But you only get that 1 month. You got 11 months more to go. So now you got somebody that just had 1 good month, didn't have to pay for something, but you got about 10,000 more people that could have been, or let's not say 10,000. I don't want to blow the situation where it just gets out of hand and it's like, oh, he just talking shit. Let's be realistic. For that one person that got $2,500, it didn't do as much as it would have done for an upstart. I'd rather have, instead of 100 people that are already existing in business getting $2,500, I would rather 10 people get $100,000. for upstarts. This is where the equity and the the differences come. Is when you really doing business, when you really start an upstart that's really stepping in and can bid on jobs because they're competitive. You can't be competitive with short money. The only reason why small businesses go out of business is not because we give bad service. It's not because we don't have everything that everybody wants. It's because we can't afford to buy at the buy rate that most big businesses can buy at. So giving me a little punk ass $2,500, that ain't gonna get me nothing. Now I know there's some people sitting back right now like, oh Wyatt, come on, man. Damn, they doing something. No, man. That's that same shit that everybody want to rock you to sleep on about what they doing for you. Be grateful. And then they throw this equitable, shit in the economy. Gonna try to do this and do that and blah 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 blah. That's bullshit. I'm just being honest with you. This ain't for everybody. This is not for those that want to sit back and be bartended to. I'm not a bartender. I'm not going to serve you drinks and make you feel good and then hand you your keys at the end of this conversation and let you get out there and drive drunk. I'm not going to do that to you. And I know there's some people that's going to really be like, bruh, he be tripping. He can't find nothing positive in the black community. I trip on people that be bullshitting the black community, who uses us. I trip on them. One of the biggest reasons why I went hard to be able to be self-sufficient is because I never wanted to deal with fake fraud ass, fake ass want to help me ass people. That's the one reason that was my biggest fuel tank. That was my biggest motivation, was I want to be self-sufficient. I don't want to have to go to anybody for nothing. Sorry, I'm just being honest with you. It wasn't so, of course your family fuels you. But my wife would tell your ass, if she was really a camera person, I probably was the hardest person in the world to live with because of my drive. I had a reason every day to get up. It was more than just my family at a certain point. It came to the point where I was like, hey, listen, I'm on a mission. I got people saying they're going to call me back and they don't call. So I'm working for them to have to call me one day. My wife thought I was nuts. My wife thought, she still to this day, but like my sister Thea Williams, y'all come around. Y'all come around. You just got to see the shit happen first. Then they be like, oh, damn. Okay. I'll step aside, do what you do. But I'm just going to be honest with you. We hear about this shit all the time. We hear about money that's going to come into the black community and they're going to help us do this and help us do that. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let me tell you who get that money. The same motherfuckers. The same ones that's in the get along gang in the circle. Oh, they going to get them some cheese. That's why the fuck they do what they do. They just smart enough to call in and talk about the shit enough and be the head of the protest and the head, not the protest so say, but the head of they like to be in the argument. They like to be the head and make an input on shit. Come on, man. How we gonna blow up if they not giving us the right bombs? You can't blow up off of a firecracker. I want a grenade, damn it. Give me, like I tell y'all all the time, man, I'm sorry. Get mad at me if you want to. I don't want somebody to show me how to do the shit that they did. I don't want that. Don't show me. Don't show me, because if you show me, I don't want to just watch you make the cake. I want the recipe to the cake. I can control my own destiny. I want the recipe. And fam, whether y'all want to hear this or not, I'm telling you the truth right now. Now, I'm going to use an example of how this could work out. I'm not going to dog it all the way. If you got somebody, like I know someone who started a cleaning service right at COVID. And if they've been going a year, because I think if I'm not mistaken, they got to have their books and shit together. I'm not talking about somebody that I know. I'm talking about due to this Lincoln and Gilbert thing. I think you have to be in business a year or so. I could be wrong about that. I don't care if you've been in business 6 months, 3 weeks. I'm going to use this for argument's sake. If you have a cleaning service, maybe the $2,500 will get you some more machines. Maybe it'll do that for you. I don't want to shit on the whole situation all the way. But when someone's trying to help you, or when you're in a business, okay, it's a difference between living your life and controlling a business. When you're controlling a business, it's very hard to go month by month just getting by, because too much shit go wrong in a business. And if you just getting by, it's just a matter of time before you're done. In life, we make certain sacrifices. Oh, I won't go to my fine restaurant this week. So I'll have a little extra money to clean up what happened last week. I took a loss at the casino or some shit. Shouldn't have took my ass in there. That's going to cost me dinner at my favorite spot. Whatever. You don't really have those type of options when you're running a business. It's a little bit different. You're servicing someone. Cutting corners could cut you off from whoever you servicing. Half-ass doing a job could make people not want to deal with you anymore. You have to put your service and what you do for these people as a priority. It should be your number one priority, is to service them to the point where there's no question. They should want you even when they can't afford you. But if somebody's giving me a grant or some money, I'm doing $100,000 in business, and this $2,500 is about to change my world or keep my doors open. The numbers aren't right. You're doing business wrong in the first place. If $2,500 is changing your world, and you're doing $100,000 in business, you're getting a third of what you collect in 1 month in a year, just for 1 month. That's just getting by. That's giving you maybe not even a free month of doing business. And I know some people like, man, you just, bruh, like bruh, is there anything you like about what black people? It ain't got nothing to do with that. I don't like pump fake ass love. I don't like shit that come out to us like it's fake. The realest person in the city of Cincinnati, I'm going to say this shit right here on the air, and y'all could tag her or whatever y'all want to say. Y'all can say I'm dogging all the other people. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to tell you right now, the realest motherfucker in the city of Cincinnati, when it come down to that shit, exposing things and letting y'all know what the money look like and what's going on and the help and this and that, the realest motherfucker in the city is Alicia Reese. Now, y'all can like all the councils and all that. I had no problem with them. But Alicia Reese tell y'all shit you ain't ready for yet. The shit that Alicia Reese, I shouldn't say it like that. The things that Alicia Reese tell you shows you how far behind you are. Shows us how far behind we. I can't tell you that shit. I know it go on, but I can't tell you what she says, because here's the thing. When you hear things from me, you see it as a negative. When I say things like, I don't have a problem with the city not having more than 2% minority contracts going to blacks, specifically black minorities. I don't have a problem with it. And people are like, what you mean, bro? That's the economic gap right there. You're absolutely right. But I'm smart enough to know there's a reason why. There's a legitimate reason why. And it has nothing to do with the holdout. It's somewhat of a holdout from back in the day. But let me explain to you. Listen to some of the things that Alicia Reese talks about. Look at the Macy building downtown, a $300 million contract that's going to a minority contractor who's not even black. Listen to the things that Alicia Reese talks about. Now, I brought that one to the table, but I want you to pay attention to what Alicia Reese talks about. And here's the thing. Everything that she shows you these discrepancies in, or, the position that these people are taking with the lifetime contracts and the deals with the city, and they have these people in place to do this and do that. Ask yourself, what company do we have that look like us that can actually do it, and who's losing that business? That's what you ask yourself. So the information she's giving you is a reaction. It's a reaction to something that's already been done, because the process and the business is already being done. The contracts and all that shit of the 3DC and all that, 3CDC and all that shit, those places exist everywhere throughout this country. You just don't, they're not called the same thing, but all of those contractor places exist throughout the United States of America. 3CDC is not like some fucking brand new idea to the city of Cincinnati. Those are everywhere throughout this country. My question is, where's the black 3CDC? Who do they compete against? And when you show me that company, and I see discrepancies in the fact, and I see something like, well, they've been competing with them. Now we need to see the numbers. Now we need to know why they're not getting the contracts. But you can't bitch and complain about something if there's no competition. If you're not going to be a competitor and then not be pulled in, and I'm with you. Now we got something to argue and fight with. Now we can argue and fight together. I'm there with you. I'm for you. But how you going to get mad at motherfuckers who's getting lifetime contracts and there's nobody competing against them? And we take Alicia Reese information and we're mad. You're mad at a company that's not competing with anybody because there's nobody there. Take the information that this brilliant woman is giving you and create something that can compete against what she's given us. Instead, we got our jaws tight and we mad about some shit that's going on over there. We mad at people who getting shit, and we just do. It's almost like we mad because we not at the party. We didn't get no invite. We didn't get an invite to the party. Wait a minute. We're not even friends, so why would I get an invite? Let me get myself acquainted with you. Let me learn that business. Let me learn some of the things that could put me in the traffic of that business. And then let me be mad and angry if you're not even considering me. Now I can go to NAACP. Now I can go to people on shows locally and say, hey, I done all the process and I've done everything that they did, and I'm competing with this 3CDC company as a contractor for this project. And now I want to know why the minority contract says we should have 6% in the city, but we're well below that. But we have the contractors, the black minority contractors, we have them in place. Why aren't we getting any of the contracts? When we're in a situation like that, then I'm with you. But we're asking for something where people aren't even in the space. See, that's why I don't talk about that, because you think I'm on some coon shit or some Uncle Tom bullshit, when in fact I'm just speaking facts. I'm just telling you what it is. Sorry. I know a brother that got a construction company in the city of Cincinnati. Very smart dude. I won't say his name because he didn't give me permission to say it. I watch his achievements on Facebook all the time. He's a contractor. He does construction. We have our sidebar conversations in the DM sometime, and text messages, I should say. And when he gets a contract with Metropolitan Housing or something to that nature, I shoot him a text. That's what's up. Then I'll say some shit, and when he posted, I'll say some shit like, they didn't come knock on your door, did they? You had to go get it, my nigga. You had to go get that shit. And we right here with it. He know. He had to go get it. Go-getters we got a different kind of language. We speak a different kind of language. Sometimes it's not even words necessary. Sometimes it's a look and a head shake, like sometimes the nod tell it all. Let me see. Let me catch up on a little bit of the chat right here. I'm sorry about that. Anthony Prosser, what's up, AP? He says, you and more people with your business mind need to apply for those grants, Wyatt. Start an organization and put money where it should go, bro. Listen, that would be a great idea, but y'all got people that do shit like that. Where are they? There's companies. Listen, bro, I'm busy. I'm busy doing what I've been able to create over the years, and I stay busy doing what I do. I'm just being honest. I'm just giving the information, so if you want to do it, it's needed. I can't do every business that's out here for opportunity. I can't do that. That's how you go wrong. When you spread yourself too thin, it's just a matter of time before something run right through you. There are companies out here, but if they're not going to show you or be honest with you, you got to understand the grant business is a raw ass game. It's a hustle within itself. The thing to do in the grant business is you have to show purpose, show reasoning of why you're here, show the fact that we need this program for this, and show cause, and then apply for the grants, and then you got to find people to get the money to. But your plan has to be so solid that when you give the money to the people who give you the grant money, they really don't care if you're accomplishing. Look, I shouldn't say they don't care. Their goal is to give you money so you can distribute it out. Your success rate is based on what you put in that business plan. But they're paying more attention to if you're giving the money out to the people that you say you're going to get the money out to. So when I make a mistake and slip up and say they don't care if it's successful or not, I shouldn't really say that, but that's not their ultimate goal. That's just my opinion. Because I see a lot of companies, a lot of nonprofit organizations get money year after year, and they spread it out to people, and they're not effective. They're not effective. But guess what? The people that gave the grant money feel good about themselves. They have somebody to report to and say, hey, we did what we were supposed to do. We gave this money to Wyatt. Wyatt gave it to Women Helping Women. He distributed out to this. He gave it to this, and he did that, and blah, blah, blah. We wash our hands. Now, when he come to us next year, we'll look at his books and find out if what he was doing was useful to the city, to the community. That's how that game go. Then I put myself on a salary to be able to distribute all the money. So basically, people with these 501c that call themselves, nonprofit organizations, and they're giving back to the community, it's their job. It becomes a job. They put themselves on a salary. And some people think that they work for themselves when they do that. Well, it is a way of working for yourself. You get you a grant writer. You tell them what you're trying to do, and the grant writer should be smart enough to write the proper grant and know where to ship it. It's a game. It's a hustle. It's a hustle. So I appreciate it. He said, let me read it again. Howdy. My bad. I wanted to catch that one part in it. You said you and more people with your business mind need to apply for these grants, Wyatt. Start an organization and put the money where it should go. Well, like I said, there are people out there doing it. That's what I was talking about with that Lincoln and Gilbert program. That's what it is. I'm trying to tell you that if they give these folks $100,000 grant to help people, I think it's better used, and this is just my opinion. If they give them $1 million, $1 million. Now my math is going to be a little crazy. I want to keep everything round, just a solid round number. If they gave this grant, if they granted out $1 million, I would rather see them give 10 upstart companies $100,000 a piece than to sit back here and piece off $5,000, $10,000 grants for companies that's already existing. For the reason of what you say it's out here for. You say it's out here to balance the equity between, black businesses and other businesses in the community. Are you trying to increase businesses, black businesses? Is that the purpose of it? If that's the case, get solid business people, give them an opportunity with some real capital to start a real business. Don't give somebody $2,500 and they already doing excess of $100,000 or a little bit more. That's not even a third of what they collect in 1 month. That's just some cushion money for 1 month, and it's not even a full month. It's a bullshit analogy. It's a breakdown that makes no sense. But it was a grant put in place, and they gonna hate me for this, man. It's on black radio. Black radio is looking at me like I'm a hater. But just look at it like this. I'm just critiquing, I'm criticizing a little bit of the play. I would rather see 10 black startup companies get real capital to make the difference up. That's what I would like to see. That's it. I'd like to see a black company get $100,000 to be able to start his own cement company versus giving a cement company that already exists $2,500. If that make any sense. Which one you think gonna go further? Which one you think is gonna catch up the disparity in the equity of black-owned businesses versus white businesses? Which one you think can compete for future contracts? Sorry, that's just my opinion. Court, what's good, bro? Court Bird is in the building. He says no minority commercial companies. Okay, I believe it. Cleopatra Jones, what's good, sis? Like I told y'all, there is royalty. I haven't read her comment yet, but there's royalty in the building. She says, and this is a little late, I know I'm behind. I just saw a white woman showing a Chinese woman with California license plates, a Ukraine man driving a Cadillac, and a white man the property next door. I'm sorry, sis. Rewrite that one for me. I'm kind of lost in the sauce on that one. My apologies. Jared asked the questions. Do you think mortar is working? I don't know. Mortar is directly across the street from my office. Not only that, I have had a couple of buddies who have participated in the mortar situation, and I don't feel comfortable speaking on it because I've never dealt with them. But mortar does what I just described. So when you tell me to go get these grants and spread the money out, like I said, there are companies, there are people that are doing that already. So I rather not make a comment about a company who I have no dealings with. But I do know people that have had experiences dealing with them. They have startups. I got a buddy of mine who used them or who went through their I think it's a class of something. They're not going to look. Can I just put this on the record without sounding like I'm trying to be an ass? Mortar can't make you successful. That's not what they do. They give you opportunity for you to be successful. All of them. That's what those companies are for. They can help you get started, but they can't make you complete. They can't make you be successful. They can help you go down the path like they did my buddy. A sandbox of mine. I don't know how this shit working out, but I'm just being honest. He went through the class, got the certificate and all that. So I'm not going to say that they're good for nothing. That would be ridiculous because, like I said, I can look out my window of my office and mortar's right there. I've seen them have block situations like block parties, not party, but a block, I don't know, get together, a gathering or some type of, convention or whatever, carnival, whatever it is out there where they display their stuff. And I've seen them do all of that. So no, I'm not going to say anything negative nor positive because I haven't really dealt with them. I have had buddies who have dealt with them. So yeah, that's the way I'll answer that. Delita, what's good? She said, take the money and teach the youth to start business and finance and where to get grants. Yes. See, let me say something to you about that. You're right about that, Delita, but let me tell you what's more important to knowing where to get grants. You got to know what to do with money before you start getting money. The biggest problem with a lot of people is when they get money, they don't know what to do with it. They don't. That's why a lot of people, lottery winners and people that get a windfall of money, that's why it usually don't stick around long, because they don't really know. It's not that they're stupid. They just may be illiterate to the money game. Money is like water. If it sits long enough, it will evaporate. You got to move money, and you got to do things with money. Money will only take care of it. If you don't take care of money, it'll take care of itself. And that means it'll get out of your way. It will find a new home. That's all I say about that. Let's see here. Delita also says that that's the purpose of teaching them. Yes, I get it. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's why I said I agree with you. But I was just saying, more importantly of what you were saying, Delita, it's more important. Listen, I think learning about money before having it is more motivation as well. Like, it's almost too late. When you get money, if I hit the lottery, let's just say I'm starting over, I'm 20 years old, and I go hit the lottery and I win $3 million. I'm going to be a damn fool. I ain't going to no financial literacy classes. I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to get the big whip. I'm going to probably get a condo, an apartment, whatever the fuck. I'm going to fuck the money up. I know I am. I'm 20 years old. I'm not going to try to educate myself. But let me tell you what you can't do. You can't lose the education if you go get the know-how before you get the money. Listen, I told this to y'all once before, that I know some rich people who ain't got a dime. And what I mean by that is this. Don't get mad at me. I know some rich people that are broke. I know rich people that are rich in the mind, and they know how to carry themselves rich, and they know what to do with the money if they ever get it. Yeah. That's why I can look at a fool who has a whole bunch of money, and I can pretty much, I don't have to count his money, but I can pretty much dictate how long they're going to have it. You give a fool $1 million, and it's just a matter of 3 years, he's gone. But if you give a smart man or a smart woman limited access to funds, but they have the know-how of when they get some money, it's hard to part them from their money. Give me somebody who hasn't made any money, and then all of it, and they've struggled, and they know how to make, they know how to make it with short money. I take that person on my team any day, because we gonna make it. We're frugal. Hey, let me take a phone call. It's first of the evening. Good evening, caller. Who am I speaking with?
Oh, this is Darlita.
Hey, Darlita, how you doing?
Fine.
Good. What's happening with you?
So apparently you was missing what I was saying in a way.
No, ma'am.
Is that, go ahead.
No, ma'am. I wasn't. I agree with you. I agree with
But
you.
But I'm saying, when you said teach them how to do money, that could be part of the course. And I'm talking about young people. I'm not talking about older people that's either well established or they already programmed. I'm talking about very young people, because that's where you generally have to start. And then you can teach them a building skill. You can teach them how to invest. You can teach them about the money thing you're talking about.
I agree. Okay. All right. Well, can I say something about that too?
Yes.
I understand where you come from when you say young folks, but let me tell you, it's important that we all understand how to work money, because what happens is this: if you only
not all people want to learn, though. I get that.
I know, but you got to understand that one of the things that I've learned in life is that if you don't start teaching somebody young, that they'll sometimes be demotivated and never want to learn. And who generally gets those people, get those young folks first? The parent, the older person. And I think what happens is financial literacy will be taught best from the home than any school, because you have to apply situation with how you're teaching as well. You know, when you're talking at school and you're lecturing about gas and electric or checkbooks and stuff to that nature, it's all just it's a simulation. Okay.
Well, I'm not talking about going to the schools and teaching them. This is private funding. I'm talking about opening up a school, open up a center where they can come and learn.
Okay.
Where they don't have to pay, or that they can get free learning, or at a cheaper rate.
Okay.
Either based on income or whatever. That's what I'm talking about. There used to be community centers when we were growing up.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's not too many of them around now, but you can, if you have the money or you want to, build those community centers to educate kids who want to come.
Yeah,
And then,
I agree.
You know, involve the parents if they want to get involved. Because again, some parents they're not going to. It doesn't matter what you say or do. You know.
Yeah, you're right about that, but that's kind of the failure in it all, because to be honest with you, usually kids, this is going to sound kind of harsh, Delete. I don't know, you may not even agree with me when I say this, but I'm going to give it the best that I can. Usually kids are motivated by their parents. Most kids that are successful in life, who have successful parents, they generally are following the same path of the parent. And the things that they see the parent do and have and all that type of stuff, they want that same thing, and they usually follow the same path.
That's why I said open it up to the ones who want to come, because unfortunately, I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
But you have people who are in a home where the parents don't even know or can't even learn, maybe because they're learning ability, so they can't teach them anyway. But if they have an opportunity, you know.
Is that what you would do, Delita, with your 90 million?
Yeah, I always thought about that. That is a way to help the community.
Yes, right. It is. Yes, it is. Have you ever thought about doing it?
I've lived in the community, and some people, it doesn't matter. They don't want the help, or they want the handout without doing anything for it.
Would you consider doing something like that? Do you think it'd take a lot of money to be able to teach somebody about money?
It would, in a way, because you got to pay the up cost of the building. I mean, our community has a lot of money, right? Within the community, because they buy. You know, it's hood rich. They buy the Nikes. They make Michael Jordan billionaires. They make all these rappers millionaires. So they have the money.
Right, but it's the, I think you're right. You're right. But I think what happens is who wants the Nikes, who wants the Jordans, who wants to make these rappers rich. I mean, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's a mentality.
But
there you go.
Kids I'm saying you have kids in the community who wants to learn, who doesn't have the opportunity, because that's where their parent has no choice but to live. So open the doors for those who we can't keep, shuddering on those who don't want to or can't, because there is a lot who want to, just didn't have the opportunity.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, Delita.
Where are those opportunities for kids who can learn or who wants to learn, but stuck in the environment because of, what their parents have or have not?
I understand. Miss Delita, may I ask, are you from Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Okay. What part of Cincinnati are you from?
All over.
Okay. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah, because I grew up in Winding Hills, Gulf Manor, Pleasant Ridge.
Okay, so which kids are you? Let's be a little bit more specific. When you say some of these kids want to learn but they don't have an opportunity, which kids are you referring to? What neighborhood you think? Can we be a little bit more specific?
It's actually in all the neighborhoods. I mean, there are kids that come out that get an education, but they were in poverty, because those are the stories they tell anyway. Oh, this kid was raised but then they became successful. There are kids in the community that do want to learn.
Okay.
I was in the community, and my kids, they wanted to learn. And there was other kids in there who wanted to learn, but there wasn't resources out there for them to have.
I get you. I tell you, one of the things that really struck me a little different, to be honest with you, Miss Delita, is this. One of the schools, I think it was Mason. I went out to Mason one time. I think we went to a basketball game or something like that. And I noticed that the high school, I think it was the high school, I'm pretty sure it was. The high school had a Mason High School bank at the cafeteria. And I'm thinking to myself, how many of the public schools in the city of Cincinnati have banks in their school? And I mean, it wasn't a full service bank. It was a bank that was kind of like one of them things that these.
I wouldn't suggest that in those Cincinnati public.
Why not?
On certain ones, no, I wouldn't.
Why not?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that bank was there for a reason other than just supplying money. It gave experience. It gave different reasons. You know, it gave them.
Have
That's
you looked at the ratings of Cincinnati public schools? Really, I mean, over the years,
yeah,
they're really bad.
yeah.
You
I
know,
know, I know, and
so
to
you
be
can't compare them to Mason or
no,
Loveland or
but
Sycamore.
I was making
You
your
know,
point, Miss Delita. I was making your point of
yeah.
having things to your access to be able to learn from. I was just piggybacking off of what you said, and I was
But
saying,
I'm saying you have to go outside the institutions that's already got them down anyway. All right, I'm saying build another. Like I said, you can't work in that institution because they already the way they are. It takes a whole lot to change that. I've been in there. I had to fight about the bullying in there because my kids wanted to learn and was picked on.
I
And I
got you.
went to the board of education. I did all that. They didn't do nothing. And all I heard from the principal is we can't do a lot to the students because we got to keep our numbers based on, that's how they get funding, you know. So you got to think a little bit outside the box somewhat.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
I agree. I agree. I just always think that you have a better success at starting kids off if the parent is motivated, then the kid can become more motivated. And of course, you and I both
That would
know.
mean going to the parents' house. And that would be changing the parents. Again, you're dealing with adults who sort of set in their ways.
I get you, and
And
you
that's a
don't know how
fight.
much I
That's a
agree
fight
with
in
you.
itself.
I agree with you, but somebody asked a question one time, Miss Delita, and that was, how do we even start over? Where do we start with the parents? And somebody said, you just got to leave them alone and leave them out of the equation. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's very difficult to do that, and that kid just follow all the right rules and do what you want them to do to be successful. It's very
Well,
hard to
the
do that.
person just told you or asked you a question about starting your own business and doing all that stuff. You said you were too busy and you didn't want to run. I mean, what's the difference? You
I'm
make
sorry.
excuses, everybody else. You know what
No,
I'm
no,
saying?
no. Repeat that. Repeat that. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
When somebody asks you about starting a business or helping, whatever they say, you say you can't do it because you got a lot of projects going on.
Mm-hmm. And you said that was an excuse?
I'm saying this. What's the difference? I mean,
I'm sorry, I'm lost.
Well, you can't work with some people. I'm sorry, you just can't.
Oh, but that
It's
was
like
not
you
my
just
reason.
can't do what what somebody requests you to do.
But
There's
I
always
think,
going to be a reason.
but I think
Again,
I did. I'm sorry, Mr. Lita, go
adults
ahead.
are set in their way. I'm just saying, adults are set in their way. And
Okay.
you're not going to stick, if you stick too much time in with people who don't want to get the help or learn it, you're losing on the people who do, or the children who do.
I agree. I think I understand your point. And when somebody, just because I can't do what was asked of me, and it was just kind of like a little small request, like, hey, Wyatt, guys like you need to put their minds together and go get grants and do blah blah blah, like my man was saying. I don't think what I said was an excuse. I think what I was saying was, that's not what I do. Like, I'm busy doing what I do for my living. But when you have somebody like me who has the knowledge and the information, I think that's half the battle, is bringing the awareness to certain things and allowing other people to hear what other ideas are out there that they can possibly do. You see what I'm
Right.
saying?
I
So
understand.
that's why I asked you, is that something that you would be interested in doing?
Yeah, I would. I mean, right, but you would have to literally start with the youth almost, because the older people, they set in their ways.
You know what, Mr. Lee, I somewhat believe, I agree with you in a sense, but let me tell you what a lot of us have a problem with. A lot of us have a problem admitting when we don't know something, or we are embarrassed because we don't know. I think if we had somebody that had the voice like you and was settled like you are, I think more people, like mothers, single mothers, maybe some single dads or whatever, would gravitate to a person like you. And they might be able to admit some of the things, like if they can't read or write, they might be able to gravitate to someone like you. They're not going to gravitate to me because my personality is, it's the wrong personality. They don't want to seem less than. But and I'm sorry, I'm just keeping it shit 100 right now. But a person like yourself, you sound like somebody's, like you can talk to somebody and they won't be offended or embarrassed to talk to you. You sound like that to me. You sound very approachable, unlike
Oh, I
myself.
get into it. I talk to everybody, but I get into it
You,
with a lot of people too.
oh
So
well,
trust
maybe
me.
I'm
But that
wrong.
most of the people I get into it with, they're very intelligent too. So it ain't that
I
I
get you. I
get
get
into
you.
it with somebody who,
But
you know what I'm saying. I don't make them feel less than. Most of my
yeah,
arguments are with intelligent people.
yeah. Well, I get that too. I understand that. But I'm gonna stick on my circle of what I'm saying about you, and that is you sound very approachable. You sound like you could talk to someone and they wouldn't have a problem telling you some of the things that they're lacking. And see, you being able to hear those things could help them a lot better than I can because they're not being as vulnerable with me. They're not as open. Because the
Right.
last
Hey,
thing a guy want to
let
tell
me tell you
me.
a problem with this and that,
Okay.
what you're saying,
Okay.
because I've helped people in every circle that I've been, even at jobs, and they've all come to me, even though they had other people to help. When it comes to politics and the BS and the red tape that you got to deal with, it becomes more stressful. And if you're fighting for people and they standing back and not fighting for you, it's a problem.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree
And
with
so
that.
it's easier to say something, but to know that it's a lot of BS that a person has to deal with. And unless you have the backing, and I mean the people, because Martin Luther King couldn't have done it by himself.
I understand. All right, Mr. Leader, you got anything else? I still think you should. I can't tell you how to run your thing or nothing, but I think that would be an excellent thing for you to maybe look into because you sound like you would care, and
Oh,
that's.
I would. I want to do that, but I still got my, like I said, I got my 17-year-old. So
Oh no, no,
I
no!
gotta,
You can't get
I
no
gotta get him
excuses.
out
No, you
before
can't get no
whatever.
excuses.
You know what I'm saying? But that's something that ideally I would love to do.
Well,
I
hopefully,
talk to everybody, like even when I was on Northdale, and I talk to everybody, but they all respect me,
mm-hmm,
and I really just stayed a certain distance because, yeah.
I got you.
But I
Well,
respected them, we
okay,
respect each other.
all right,
So it's cool. Yeah.
all right. Well,
That's
cool.
all you know,
Well, Miss
that's all it's
Delita,
got to be done with most people is just to show a little respect. And like you said, when you act like you better,
yeah,
you're going to lose people
yeah,
regardless.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah.
It's
I
like
do.
it's not even about being humble. I I appreciate like people who got stuff. They went out and got it. You know what I'm saying? There are people who are jealous of those people, and you can't help that either. But
Right.
if
I
you want
understand.
something, you're right. There's things in life that you can do, and there's avenues, and some people got it easier than others. That's all.
Right. The path is
But
different. The path is different. Sometimes it's listen. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes the hard way to get it is the best way to get it because you'll appreciate it more and you'll keep it in the end. If something's handed to you, you don't take care of it the same way. That's just my opinion.
well, no, that's true. Everybody think a lot of these stars. Like I didn't even know Chappelle been doing stand up since he was like 19 or younger.
Yeah.
I didn't know Bernie Mac was in the business 10 years before he even made it.
Right. Yeah. A lot of people only see
So
this. They only see the glory. They don't know too much about the stories. You know what I mean? They just see the after effects of all the hard work, and then they have a lot of input to talk about what somebody should be doing. They weren't on stage with Chappelle when he was 21 years old getting booed. You know what I mean? They only see him getting cheers.
right. But I think if for real, if you start with the youth and you make it fun,
Yeah.
other youths might follow because they usually follow each other because the peers is what most youth see anyway. Most young people see their peers more than they see their parents
Yeah.
because they're in school most of the day if
I
the
agree.
parent work nights. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So yeah, if you build that and you make it fun and you make it where everybody's talking about it, I don't know if you could do anything with the schools because it's so wrapped up in ugly tape.
Right.
You know, that's why I was saying start it outside of the school, start it, build community centers or build the programs in the community centers and make sure the money is allocated properly, not just for somebody's wealth. And then
Well,
the people who's supposed to get it is not getting it.
well, let me ask you this, and then we'll end it on this because this is kind of where I was going with the question, and that was if you had $90 million. We all know what you would do now, and that's a very effective way of moving some of that money and contributing to your community. But you know,
But hold on, let me say one thing too. What can I take out from me? I'm just trying to figure that one out.
what can you take out for yourself out of the 90
Yeah.
million? Oh, that would be well. That's definitely. I mean, if it's really the nonprofit organization, you would have to put yourself on a salary. So I would figure at least I would say if you were to put yourself on a salary of, Out of $90 million, you got to figure, honestly, I would say probably 4% of the earnings of the nonprofit would be a fair salary of yourself. And see, a lot of people bitch and complain, excuse my language, bitch and complain about what CEOs make. And if you look at their revenue, um, and you see these CEOs who make $2 million or $3 million a year, most of them make that money because they do in the access of 50 to 60 to 70 million dollars in money, in business, in revenue. So when you look at,
Yeah, so you don't want me to start on that topic.
no, I really don't. We can get on that another
No,
day.
I'm saying like some of them deserve the salary, but those high bonuses they get themselves into a company that's going bankruptcy, and then employees lose their job. It's a little BS.
Well, that don't
Or if
happen
they get
every day.
fired, they get these big chunks of money.
That happens in corporate
I know
America.
that's how it works. I know.
Yeah, that happens in all levels of corporate. That's not just CEOs.
I know. And
AP
the
said it was that a
reason why
dig
they
at
make
me.
the money is for the people working though. See, the money's not flowing evenly, right? And that's just how America works.
Yeah,
Right? Because without the workers, regardless, they wouldn't make the money anyway.
Yeah, well, without the people who put the company there, the people wouldn't have anywhere to work. So it's one of them things where everybody feel like if they wasn't there, the company wouldn't be there. So there's no win-win or no lose-lose there.
It is. The people lose at the end of the day.
How do the people lose?
Huh?
How do the people lose?
Depend on which sector you're talking about, depend on which company you're talking about, and depend on if they're paying them fairly based on their product. You know, the only people I see that get paid really right is the athletes. Their company make billions and they give them millions.
Athletes
That's
are
about the
underpaid.
only company I just about see that really properly pay their people.
Athletes are just as underpaid as anybody else. It just so happens they're in $1 billion game and they get millions off of
I
billions.
worked for $1 billion companies. I didn't make them salaries.
I know. I mean,
Exactly.
when you generate,
they still get paid well.
But see,
and
you
they
gotta
still
understand.
fighting for better pay. So what they tell you?
Exactly. But I just said that. I just said that they're underpaid. I said that millionaire athletes are underpaid because you're not going to make that kind of money unless you're generating money. You know, whoever is signing a millionaire's check is usually a billionaire. And they're not going to pay you 10 million if you didn't make them $1 billion. Or, you know, 200 million, $300 million.
Right. And it took all the players so they get paid and some of them get paid.
Yeah, you got to understand the capitalism game. We live in a world where, you know, where a lot of people say
the rich is greedy. We live in a world where
that's not
fair.
At
the end of the day,
that's not fair.
You wouldn't have this problem though.
That's not fair.
They shipped all our jobs over to other countries.
That's not fair to say. It's not fair. I mean, I'm with you in a sense, Miss Delita, but it's not fair to say that rich people are greedy. It's not fair to say that.
I'm not saying all rich people. See, that's the thing when we speak. No, I'm not talking about all rich people.
You just said rich people are greedy.
I know that. That's why I got to retract.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
People,
okay. You're
but
right.
there are so many that are. So, but then you have to break it down. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it all depends on what you consider greed. Because there are numbers that you work, there are margins that you work off of. And because you're working off certain margins, which may be standard, or sometimes they may be above board, don't mean that you're greedy because you're hitting your margins. In business, you have to work margins.
I can send you a whole bunch of things with businesses where they stole money. Okay, that's greedy.
Okay, well, would you
You
call?
got a lot of businesses. You got a lot of people who do Ponzi schemes.
But let me just say this to you, Miss Delita.
But we're gonna talk about business. We talk about Enron, WorldCom, and there's probably some more just like them right now.
Well, you also got to look at. Okay, well, look at a person who's out here thieving, who may not be a rich individual, and they're stealing from people people after people after people to enriching themselves, right? Right? I mean, they don't have to.
That's a problem too. I didn't defend their ass.
But they're not rich. They're not rich. They just have a certain mentality.
That's a problem too.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So it's greed is not a rich man's game. Greed can be a poor person that's just getting too much. See, we get things construed.
And that's true. No, I never said that. But see, I wasn't talking about that. But if you brought it up, I would agree. So I didn't defend the poor people that's stealing.
Well, I just wanted to be, politically correct and say that when people say that rich people are greedy, I know poor people who are greedy. You see what I'm saying?
True.
So it's not, greed has no dimensions of rich or poor. Greed is an individual
Well,
thing.
if you rich and you greedy, then you rich and greedy. If you poor and greedy, then you poor and greedy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But there's no specific greed. I mean, there's no. I don't think that greed has an economic. I
Oh my
think
God, don't say that now.
what?
Yes, it does.
What do you
Yes, it
mean?
does.
So you think more people that are rich are greedier than people that are poor who are greedy?
It's greed, period.
Right. I
I
know,
don't know.
but
I mean, if you look at the numbers, you know what I'm saying? The greed is greed. You know, it's just how much is behind it or whatever. But greed is greed.
I agree. I'm just telling you that greed comes from rich people and
Now,
poor
see, it
people.
sounds like you're defending the rich ass people. That's what it
No,
sounds
I'm defending greed.
like.
I'm defending greed. All right, I'm trying to put greed in its proper perspective because there are people that rob people out here that are being greedy. And there are people who
Okay,
have way more than what they really need and they still being greedy. So what's the
that's
common
true.
denominator? It's just greed. It's not an individual style of person as far as rich or poor. It's just the individual. Greed is an individual it's an individual's choice. It's their ether. It's what wear on them. You don't have to be rich or poor.
Yeah, but corporations can do better
They can do better at what?
distributing their wealth
Now,
to
I
the
can
work to the
I
workers,
can agree with
to the
that.
workers.
I can agree with that. I will agree with that. And I know AP about to be like, well, you wasn't saying that shit the other day. When I was talking to Anthony Presser, when I was talking to AP the other day about this same situation, I was basing my argument off of what margins companies need to be on. And he's saying CEOs got these damn Ferraris and these Phantoms and all these cars. You counting their money, and that's not how you have to equate who's being greedy and who's getting overpaid and stuff like that. They're in a position to oversee multi-million-dollar Fortune
They in a
500.
position to screw over the workers at the end of the day. That's all I know, and that's all I've seen in the past. I'm not saying every company is like that. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of them are though. They set up the margins. All right. So if you setting it up, you setting it up for yourself. You screwing your workers. Period.
Well, yeah, you know what, Miss Delita, I like you. I like you. You're very hard to have an argument with because you even make what you just said. You make it sound true, but it's not necessarily true. Okay, all companies don't screw over their workers. A
No,
lot.
right. And I said that. I said
I
it's
know,
not all
I know, I
companies.
know,
There's millions of businesses.
I know. But
So
let let
if we want to break down which company and what they did, then I can, next time get a whole list of them.
I understand, but I can also name off some companies that pay their employees very well, and what you say are wrong. I'm telling you that it's
There
the.
are some that pay their employees well and do all that. But again, we're in a time where a lot of companies are making record profits and the workers are not keeping up with today's times.
Name
And they
one.
took away the pensions.
Name one.
They took away the pensions.
Mm-hmm.
They're not, you having people in jobs where they make half the older workers making because of contracts that were set up, which was unfair. And
Well,
then everybody wants to make an excuse if you're on the better side of the contract.
okay, so now let me ask you: can you be a little bit more specific with me? What company did what you just said?
Oh, most of the union companies did that first off, and that's where I came from. So that's why I have an understanding. And I argue that nobody, because they said because of the last recession, they took away a lot of stuff. But then they said when they come back up, they'll return it, but they didn't. And all the older workers, what they did was pass the contracts because they were at a better deal than the young ones coming in.
But that's
And then once people get into a higher status, they think they're better. They don't fight for the younger people. See, I get tired of people saying all this stuff. When you're in a position and you can make change, you don't want to because you want to be in a better level. This is where we are. That's what I mean by greed too.
okay.
Where's the pensions at? At record levels that these companies are making ever in life. They didn't bring a lot. They took away a lot of stuff. And then they're trying to raise the rate that you have to work until you die. They haven't done it yet, but they're trying. And then you got to go into a job doing work where you got people in there ain't doing crap, and you getting paid half. Ain't nobody gonna fight.
But wait a
Especially
minute.
the older ones.
Let me ask you something. You're saying this was
And the company like it because they're screwing the workers out too.
But wait a minute.
If you're doing the same job as the other
Ms.
person,
Delita.
you should get paid the same way. But then that's just me thinking.
Hold on, Ms.
Because
Delita.
if they say you have experience, if I'm doing that damn job and I'm doing it well, then I have the experience.
Hold on
See,
one
that's-
second.
that's-
Let me
that's that
hold on,
stuff
hold
they
on, hold on,
teach
hold on,
us,
hold
you
on,
know,
hold on,
so
Miss
they can
Delita.
screw your ass.
Hold on, Miss Delita. I gotta understand this the right way. You're talking about a union-driven company. I mean, a company where there was a union involved, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about a lot of union companies, but then I'm talking about a lot of jobs too. I just went outside of sector union companies too.
But wait
And
a
there's
minute.
problem in there too.
But wait a minute. If I'm not mistaken, because when I got out of college, I worked union. Like, I'm not a union guy. I was in legal against. I
God,
fought.
yeah.
Okay, so I may have a little bias, but I understand the whole process. I'm gonna be honest with you. Unions are in place for your benefit, and what
No,
you're
it isn't. Not no
whoa,
more.
whoa. Let me finish my point. Unions were put in place for your benefit. So you're telling me that these companies that now have unions in them, that these unions are not fighting for the employees like they used to. That's what you're saying.
No, of course not. I'm not even gonna go deeper into all of that stuff, but no, they're not.
I don't
If you go in
know
there,
any
there's about 4 or
corporation.
5 different tier pay wages. And again, if you grandfathered in, you lucky.
Right.
You know what
But
I'm
let
saying?
me
But
tell you
coming
something.
in at a time and you make it. Let me tell you something now. And I'll name the company too, like even Ford and General Motors, because those are the 2 places I worked at. You come in the door making $15 an hour. Hell, 20 years ago I was making 28. How does that make sense? And yet these companies are making record profits.
Well, I don't know if Ford and GM are making record profits, to be honest with you.
Not this year.
No,
Probably not. Everybody that lost their asses in the stock market just dropped.
Not in decades. In decades. I can tell you right now that.
Yes, they have. I got bonus checks from them. That's how I know.
Well, I think bonus checks are not all bonus checks are based on profit. It's based on performance.
Yes, it is. No, it is. No, it isn't. I know. My profit sharing checks was based off of
That's
what
different.
they made.
That's
and
different.
They made record profits in the past several years before COVID.
Wait a minute. Record profits out of GM and Ford.
Yes.
That's hard for me to believe.
Well, you have access to the internet and you can look it up.
I do.
Right?
I do. But I'm telling you, in this competitive world,
It is, but I worked inside that world, so you can't tell me.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. But I know how union contracts are structured, and not all of them are profit-driven bonuses. Not all of them are like that. Some of them are based on how many hours, how much profit is actually made. It all depends on. There's a lot of factors because the unions are the ones that negotiate.
And a lot of these new contracts screw the new workers. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
because they changed it so that the companies can make better money for themselves and the CEO. The new workers are getting screwed royalty. I'm just saying that. I was one to speak out.
I got you.
You know, and I always speak out.
You from the. Let me show you where you're from, Ms. Delita. How many years did you put in at one of those factories? I'm not sure if it was Ford, GM. I'm not sure how many years you put in there.
8 and 6.
Okay, so
and I worked at the Ford plant in Batavia that shut down.
How long ago was that? Was that in the 2000s?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, in the 80s, you know, Ford and GM and all them up in Detroit was slamming and was smashing, right? They were doing all the numbers, and all the folks, factory workers and everybody was making a ton of money, right? Everybody was living. That's why black folks did so well in Detroit. I have family members there that worked in the factories. The mother, my aunts, and not my aunt, but my wife's aunt, the husband and the wife and the kids end up going there straight out of high school. Everybody was making great money.
I'm talking about new workers. I understand that. Let me
explain something.
The Japanese and all them people came to America, and Americans bought the vehicles.
Yeah,
that's how they lost their jobs.
At a certain point, the gravy has to stop. And what created the gravy were the unions. And what happened is when the unions came in and created gravy for the workers, now the company has to figure out how to make their margins. Okay? And when the company has to pay or has to be controlled by a union, and you got 4 people screwing in one light bulb. Do you know when there was an issue going on with the Ford plant and the GM plant in Detroit, do you know that they had to send people home because they weren't selling cars? Factory workers were under union contracts, and they had to be at work. It was part of the union.
You know what? I understand that. Trust
Wait a
me,
minute.
I was trying to kiss ass in them companies.
Let me
be a good worker in them companies.
Let me finish my point, because the people don't know. They don't work there. You did, but they don't work. Let me tell you, they were sending people home who had to get 8 hours in because it was union driven. The union said in their contract with Ford or GM, you got to give us 8 hours a day per employee. So even when they weren't selling cars, they still had to pay those people for the amount of work, even if it wasn't work to be done. So people were going home in the middle of the day with no work to do, but being paid a full wage. Now, how good is that?
No, okay, but that was back then, and I understand what you're talking about.
But that's what creates. That's what. But Miss Delita,
I understand
that is what creates.
They're handing out their supervisors big bonus checks, their CEO big bonus checks. They getting a lot of money.
Delita, what I'm telling you is when it's time to renegotiate the contracts with unions, past experiences are going to. They
don't represent the people anymore. Let me say that. At the end of the day, you have incompetency in there. Half of them read like third graders. I'm just telling you.
I know what you're saying, Miss Delita. I'm with you there. I'm with you there.
To believe back then, trust me, it ain't the same.
What I'm saying to you is this: at some point, when a system is abused, there's going to be another group of people that have to follow up and come after that. And when they follow up and
they pocketed that money. Just like, let me tell you something. Go read the articles. 11, even during the time of negotiation, 11, I think it was about 11, it might be more or less, union officials got caught stealing, okay?
Yeah, that's been going on since union.
So go look at that. So while they represented them, they were pocketing the money and working with some of the companies because some of those company members got caught too.
Yes. Miss Delita, you're going to get all of that.
That's what I'm saying.
You're going to get all of that. Union representative, I can't speak for all of them. You got people that I got family members that are in unions and union rep, and they are union steward. I understand the whole process, okay? So I'm not going to speak badly on unions. All I'm saying is if unions...
you know what? I won't say it on all. I'll just say it the one that I work for.
Well, let me say this. Unions have created a situation where people are being, if you want to, you could say it's been fair for their union people. Yes, you can say it's been fair. You could say that they also provided the opportunity for people to be overpaid and overcompensated for maybe not working as hard. And what I'm telling you is, in business, when you have created an atmosphere like that, when it's time to renegotiate, there could be a level of corruption, because if you pay off one or two people and they make decisions for 100 people, that's going to leave room for 2 people to be compensated, and it leaves the other 98 people in the cold. And that's where some of the corruption can come in with unions. If you pay off certain people, they'll leave the other people in the cold. But that sense of that came in because the negotiated contract at the beginning was not right. When you got people sitting at home who getting paid, regardless if y'all selling automobiles and they moving automobiles on the track or in the factory, you know, if you're going to pay these people because you're handcuffed in a union to do that, you are hurting the company overall. You're hurting the company.
Oh, no, I didn't. But see, that's not right. I understand that part too. So what you're saying is anybody coming new, they're going to just have to suffer through it because of what happened in the 80s.
Well, to be honest,
that what you're saying?
What I'm saying to you is
because obviously they're not suffering if they're getting these big ass bonus checks.
Well, let me
suffering that much.
Let me answer that.
They could look if a company's suffering that much, they ain't no way in hell they could be making those big ass bonus checks that they do.
Well, you got to understand something. I'd like to answer the first question, and you said that the new people coming in are suffering because of what happened in the past. It happens like that.
No, I didn't say that. I said you
were
that.
asking me that.
They're suffering because of people who, when the company made them believe that they had no choice but to do it.
No.
And
you asked me.
Where they could have changed.
Miss Delita, you asked me the question. You asked me.
People look, like you said, people have power. Honestly, they do. And it's the only power they have is if they all think alike or stick together.
Boy, Miss Delita, you right. You do argue with smart people a lot.
But I'm just saying, it's just like even with black people.
No.
If they stuck together and had one, a general ideal and everything, a lot of things can get done. But everybody thinks differently.
Yes. Well, let me just say this. when you ask me a question, and in this in me answering your question, you thought my answer was me putting words in your mouth, and it wasn't. You asked me a question of, am I saying, and this is what you say, ask me, am I saying that people of today are suffering for what the unions did in the car industry back in the day? And my answer to that is
No, they're not. Yeah, for me, no, they're not suffering because of what the crap they did back in the day.
well, no,
They
no,
still,
no.
they
That's
turned
your
back
answer.
to greed. That's
That
all
whoa,
I'm
whoa, whoa,
saying.
whoa, whoa.
They
That's
turned back to
okay.
greed.
That's your
We
answer.
dealing with that.
But
It turned back to greed.
but hold on. I'm about to tell you something. That's your answer. Now I'm gonna give you my answer. Okay, my answer is yes. It is because of what happened in the past. Companies don't want to be handcuffed like that, and they will make it difficult for your next union contractual situation. Yes, they never want to be put in a situation like they were put in before.
They got a lot of money missing, so that wasn't the cause of that.
Well, that's two separate issues. That's two separate.
Exactly.
How they got money missing and how they paying their people. That's two different issues.
So if you get money out the cookie jar, you got to try to find out how to make it out.
Yeah, but there could be some theft going on. That don't mean everything that's missing is missing legally. That don't mean, and it don't mean that it was done corrupted. It could mean that, yes, like you're saying, they pay the higher execs more. But let me just tell you something. Let me tell you what happens. I think what happens is when you go in and negotiate an executive salary, there are levels of bonuses. And a lot of people don't like that. I had to tell a friend of mine the other day, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. And if I'm a VP or something to that level or lieutenant of that company and they want me, I have to negotiate the best deal for myself. I'm not thinking of you or anyone else when I'm trying to get the best deal for me because I have to feed my family.
So that should work on a smaller level.
It
too,
does.
right?
It does work on the smaller level. That's
No, it
why they
doesn't.
have union. That's why y'all
Depending
have.
on who represents you.
Well,
Like Dave Chappelle said when he went in there, nobody knew until his special that what if you send somebody in there and that they working with the other person?
Well, that
Because he was
happens.
saying that.
But that's
I'm
up
just
to you.
saying.
Listen. What people fail to realize with unions, it's like I heard a conversation the other day on the radio. I heard this lady talking about, and it was a really nice lady, and I feel sorry for them, but when I give my input, they don't reach out to me because I don't know shit. But let me just say this. This lady say they own some property in Avondale, and they're in a condominium, and they're being treated bad, not by the city of Cincinnati. They're being treated bad by their HOA. Do you realize that you control your HOA? You control your housing authority. You control your representative for your complex, your condo complex. Why are you letting somebody dictate to you what's going on with your property? You control that management group. And when I said that on the radio, I put that comment in and I offered to give some input or have the lady call me or whatever. Maybe I could give you some names, give them some names of some new management companies that can run their HOA. It goes unheard because a lot of black folks don't want to hear from black folks. They feel, they like, no. Now, if I was a white dude, and I hate to say this shit because my godfather told me this many years ago, black folks ain't gonna listen to you, son. They not gonna listen to you.
Okay, I want to stop you. What is HOA? What's that?
It's the management group. It's what you do. Like when you have a condo or when you live in a housing, like for instance, I live in a piece of property. It's my home. Okay, my wife and I. It's our home, but we live in a community, and in that community, you pay a HOA to manage your property. Okay, and they make sure that the streets and all that are done, and they take care of repairs throughout the complex and things of that nature, especially if you're in like a condominium. If you're in a condominium, you're paying for the grass to be cut out there. You're paying for, these are things that you don't have to do yourself. So you pay a company, a management company, to do all that stuff for you. Well, your HOA is a group of people that own the property with you, and you guys have formed a board. And when you form your board, it's like you have to hire a management company to control, your like a management group that controls your trash or whatever you got going on. And it's so many different things that they do. Cut the grass, landscaping, make sure that the light bulbs are up in the hallways. It's just a lot of stuff. It's like a maintenance company as well throughout your property. So,
but then she's in a contract with them too then, right?
Well, yes, but in a certain sense that you control that. You sign them up to be, okay, there may be a length on it. It may be something, but they don't control you. You call the shots. And see, that's what a lot of people, I didn't understand the conversation that this lady was having about this man is taking certain things and he's making decisions on his own and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, is he the HOA president? Is he part of your homeowners association? Is he part of and she said, no, he's from the management group that we brought on. And I'm like, he can't call no shots. He does what you tell him to do. I don't know how we just got off on that, but
okay. I know we do that. See, I do that too. But is the contract she set up with him? That contract may say he does have that right.
No,
we don't know.
No,
we don't know what contract she signed with them.
No.
Or what they signed with each other.
But here's the thing: there's from her complaints, she's complaining about something that the HOA dictates. They determine what happens in certain situations. The management group is just there to get it done. Okay, it's like for instance, if you're a homeowner, okay, let's say you own an apartment complex, okay, and in that apartment complex you have 10 apartments, but you can't manage that property yourself because you got something going on, so you hire a manager to go work that property for you. In other words, they collect the rent, they make sure the grass cut, they do all the stuff at that property for you, right? That person can't tell you what to do with your property. They can recommend, Miss Delita, I think that we need to get the grass cut twice a week instead of once a week. They can't make that twice a week happen unless you approve it. You're the boss. And what I'm saying is this lady is running into some issues. I don't know exactly what they are off the top of my head, but there are some issues that I'm hearing that this lady is sharing with the radio, and I'm telling you that they can't make those calls without the HOA approving it. That management group can't just do that stuff. And I'm telling you that your union is the same way. Now, there's a certain amount of agreement that y'all already.
Okay, let's not. Okay, we're gonna get off the union.
Well, you got to understand. Well, you got to
bust it up in contracts.
Well,
and they shouldn't have. So I don't need. This is what I mean by when people say what somebody can't do. That sometimes you got to get lawyers involved because people still do it. And
there you go. To pay lawyers, well, you got to understand. You got enough money. You got enough money to pay.
You can't ever tell me that anybody in the United States can't do crap. Hell, we got a president right now, an ex-president who done some illegal stuff and still getting away with it.
You got a president that's currently a president that's done the illegal stuff and getting away with it. So
what
you're right.
Biden do?
Say, excuse me?
That's illegal. What did Biden do?
He illegal? Ain't done shit. He only been in Congress. He only been in the United States. He only been a politician for 50 years. He ain't never done shit. He ain't never done nothing wrong.
No, I said illegal. You said he did illegal shit.
Well, you got to understand. There's payola. I'm not a I don't do the politic thing, but I don't know any politician that. Let me ask you this: what have you ever thought about how somebody is worth $60 million or $70 million who's never had a job that paid over $250,000? Politicians don't make that kind of money.
I know that's most like politicians. They'll say books or they'll say this or that. I understand.
Have you ever heard of Joe Biden making some type of investments in something, or he owns anything in this country?
Well, they have insider stocks. All of them do.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, does he have some type of conglomerate company that's going on?
But you don't know for sure. You're just making an accusation.
No. I know for
reports of Trump ass doing a lot of illegal crap, right?
Excuse me? I didn't hear you.
I said you're just making accusations. You just don't know for sure. But
no, I know that
Trump done.
Well, I don't know what I don't know what Trump has done. I don't know what I know. I don't know what
Trump. You don't know what Trump has done?
No, I don't.
You mean instead of starting an insurgence on January 6th, trying to get a governor to find votes that was on recorded, taking black boxes to his camp, using money for his kids and all them? What? Can we go on some lists? I mean, I could pull up a whole bunch.
But you can't come up with. You can't come up with anything that Biden has done. You don't. You
What?
think that he's a clean whistle?
I didn't say it was. I just said, do you know?
So why
I'm
are we
asking
talking
somebody
about
for that. I said,
Trump?
I'm asking you a question. Do you know?
But let me
Like
ask you.
the accusation is, if you say that, then it's like, well, you know specifics, right?
Okay.
So I can
You
name
know
a
what?
whole bunch
I
of
was trying.
specifics about your boy.
I was trying
You
not
know,
to. I was trying not to. But when you hear things,
oh,
when you find your crackhead son's laptop, and you've been visiting his business partners have been visiting the White House while your dad is the vice president. And these are business people that have shuffled money throughout the Ukraine and shuffled money throughout Russia and China. And your son, who has no credentials in business whatsoever, is making $4.9 million, and they're saying we'll take care of the big guy. I mean, I have to assume I'm gonna assume that the big guy is the guy that they.
Now was that off of Fox News?
No,
Or that was
these are legit.
okay.
These
now,
are
I heard about the
Oh,
laptop.
okay, but see, what you might want to do is stop. Look. Here's the thing. A lot of people have discredited certain news situations just when you said Fox News. I could say some of the things that you hear from CNN. Some of the things you don't hear from CNN will let
I
me
don't
know.
just listen to CNN. I look at the news on NPR and all the other
what
ones.
do you know?
I just don't deal with Fox because that's more like a racist news place.
Yeah,
and
they
gave
dog
a lot of racist voices.
They dog
you
black
know?
people all day long
And,
over
and
there.
I know it's race everywhere. I get that, But if they put out more, like they just biased, so biased and so bad.
Well, you know
And
what?
they put out a lot of lies. That's the only problem I had with
What?
Fox News. They were reputable 20, 30 years ago, possibly, but not now.
Let me get one of them lies. Just give me one, just to wet my beak. Give me one lie that they told. I want to hear it.
Oh,
You say a lot, so it shouldn't be that hard to find one.
it shouldn't be.
Give me one, Miss Deleta. Give me one of them lies. It don't even have to be about Trump, because I know they got a million lies that Trump didn't say it. Just give me one lie.
That's true.
Come on, they got a whole bunch of them. You said they got a bunch of them. Just pick one. Give me one.
Well, they said the election was rigged.
They said that, or Trump said that?
Fox News said that.
I think they were. I think what they were doing was reporting what Trump was saying.
Well, that would be a lie then, wouldn't it?
Okay, so CNN don't say things that people say?
No, I didn't say CNN don't lie. Newscast has been called lying.
But you just specifically
I don't
said.
Just go, again, I just
you
don't
specifically
go to
said
CNN.
Fox
So that was your
lies.
assumption. You just said CNN, right?
Well,
I do look at NPR. I do look at other ones.
You look at MSNBC too, don't you?
Who? No, I actually look at all of them. So, because they have to retrack a lie most of the time. Anyway.
Yeah, they sure do. They sure do. So wet my beak. I need to hear one of them lies. I need to hear, because that wasn't Fox News who said the election was rigged. That was Trump. That was Trump putting it out there, and they're reporting what the president or ex-president said.
Well, okay, let me say this. Every news story is put out what someone else is told, right? Every news station is putting out what somebody else told them. Is that correct?
Not necessarily. Because there's a difference between
telling out their own business.
Well, no. Keep in mind, Miss Deleta. Keep in mind, there's a difference between a reporter and a journalist. Okay, a lot of CNN people have reporters. Journalists are people that research what they talk about. Reporters are those that just talk about what researchers talk about. Like you don't very seldom see reporters go out and do journalism work. They're just reading off they're reading off of something, and they may engage in the conversation and give their opinion. But that's a reporter is someone that's telling you information that's been brought to them. Where a journalist is someone that kind of go out there and they do journalism work and research what they're saying and what they're doing.
Isn't that why they're getting sued right now? Fox is for defamation.
Well, I think just to be fair, I think all news medias get because I have to say that all news medias find themselves in litigation for that. But CNN is just as guilty of that right now. They getting sued by their own employees and ex-employees for that same situation. So I mean, you could say that about all those news medias. And the last time I checked, every lie that I've heard so far has been driven by CNN. Do you see how hard they went for our Chaos Agent of the Year for 2021, Jesse Smollett? Did you see CNN go hard for him? Didn't you see MSNBC go hard for him? They went hard for that dude. And do you see how, as far as what? Do you know who Jesse Smollett is?
I'm saying they go hard for him as saying that he didn't lie, or going hard for him.
Oh, they went hard for him for some shit that was fraud, that was fake. They went super hard for him. And they went after, they soaked up everything that he said, and they went super, super hard for him. And they were talking about the MAGA people and the Trump people in the street that put the noose over his neck, and see how the country being run over by these white people that's doing such and such and such.
So, I mean, so isn't it the same as Fox do for Trump?
Huh? No.
Go by what he said.
Okay, so when was the last time you seen? Let's be 100. Let's be 100. When was the last time you seen somebody sitting in a courtroom based on false information, being held on felony charges, and using Trump as the person that did it? Like this guy, I'm talking about Jesse Smollett. I don't even care about Trump or Biden in this. I'm talking about who supported the story of Jesse Smollett harder than anybody. And it was all bullshit. Not only did he support it, but the whole district attorney.
Jesse still say he innocent though. Jesse still say
but he's not, and you and I both know that nigga is lying. We know he lying. Stop playing with me, because it ain't no white boys walking down the middle of the cold ass Chicago with no nooses in, with mega hats. Chicago don't rock like that, and that's why everybody from Chicago was mad at his ass. All my brothers and sisters was mad at him, like, bro, you should have said that shit happened in Idaho somewhere. You should have went on a trip and did that shit somewhere else.
Here's to be fair. He did say he did drugs, so that could have been a problem. And that could be a mental health. Let the white people use it. Just let our people use it too.
I don't care what they use. I got to be more realistic than that, Mr. Leader. No, you just trying to argue and keep listen.
They go hard for their people.
No, I'm not going hard for nobody that's on that type of line shit, because they making it hard for us that got real issues. Us that really go through the real things, us that have problems with getting promotions, us that have problems with getting equal pay and all that old shit. You get this punk ass dude.
But if you support Fox, you support the company.
I don't support Fox like that.
Don't like us anyway.
I don't support Fox like that. I support the truth. I support equal coverage of issues. Let me ask you something. Why isn't any other network covering the border issue?
I don't trust none of them.
You don't think that shit is going on down there?
I don't trust none of the parties involved, okay? All of them right now are so divided and so.
Wait a minute. You know why? You know why? You know why you're not talking?
You're not gonna change the border.
You know what? Excuse me?
Change the border?
Sure you will. Wait a minute.
No, you won't.
People, they got 18,000 people a day coming across the border that just started 2 years ago.
Who's hiring them, though? Who's hiring them? The people who
Oh, you don't know. You don't know.
Those people got companies are in Congress.
See,
okay?
this is the problem.
People got nannies that are from the border, okay?
This is the problem when you're not informed of what's going on. Because you don't know what's going on down there for you to say. When you say who's hiring them, what are you talking about? Were these people that's crossing the border, where they going to work? Is that what you're saying? These are illegals.
Where get the income from, though?
These are illegals. They're not being hired. The government is taking care of them right now. Where do you think they're going?
You really think there's not a lot of people out in some of these jobs that Americans don't want are getting hired until they get busted?
Miss DeLita, you need to research what's going on, because I'm telling you.
Ain't no company gonna tell you that they're doing it anyway.
Miss DeLita, do you know how many people have crossed over the border illegally? And let me tell you something that might make you feel a little bit different. I'm going to show you. Can you see your monitor right now?
Well, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to show you something. You see this picture right
Can
here?
can I ask you something? How
Yes.
many people crossed over the border illegally in the 1400s? Okay.
Okay, but okay, hold on.
I'm
I
just
don't think they
saying.
had borders in 1400. I'm gonna show you something here, right here. Look at the screen right now, Miss Delita. Do you see this empty shelves? These empty shelves? This is baby Similac. This is what Americans are lacking right now. We can't put Similac to our babies right now. Okay. Now I'm gonna show.
Are a lot of Similac? Can I ask you this question?
Mm-hmm.
Is a lot of Similac made in the U.S.?
Some of it is, and some of the factories are shut down.
Of it is. Is it half of it? Do you know how much is made here and how much is made?
I mean, I can't tell you off the top of my head.
The country?
I can't tell you off the top of my head the dimensions of what's made here and what's not. But it's not gonna have anything to do with my point. I mean,
no, it does. Well, in a way.
How you don't even know what point I'm making?
Because they ship a lot of our jobs overseas, and now because of COVID, and they shut those things down. This is where everything that happened over the past 20, 30 years or whatever is showing its ugly head.
Okay,
and so now we got to find an excuse or put the blame on something.
So what you're saying is this, if I'm not mistaken, let me just make sure I understand this. The reason why this shelf is so empty right here is because these products probably come from overseas and we're not able to get to them.
I don't know.
No, I'm asking.
That's why I asked you. Do you know the numbers? I know a lot of it was recalled too.
I know that they're working on getting a few plants put back in motion in the United States but it's going to take 2 to 3 months. And who has 2 to 3 months to get baby Similac out? But can I make this point real fast? Because I want you to have time to be able to answer the question as it comes. Okay. So here is the shelf of baby Similac. And what point you were making is, where is it all coming from? Is it coming from overseas? Is it here in the United States? And I'm saying there are plants in America that are now being reopened, right? And here's the thing. I'm looking at this shelf of what the American public gets. This is from a regular store like Walmart, where we can't get any of this, and it's dwindling. It's very, very low. I'm going to show you this other picture.
That came from people hoarding them too. They said that was one of the excuses. When COVID hit, people stacked up.
You know what? There was no problem with baby formula during COVID. The problem is now.
People stacked up. The problem is, like I said, when the recalls in other countries, when they shut down and can't produce it, this is when we had this problem.
So if they stacked up then, that means we should have more now, right?
Not them. I'm talking about people who bought it.
Right.
You know, like they did toilet paper.
But there are people that there are no people out here that's saying that they're not in trouble.
And then they said they had more babies being born too, right? That was another thing. I mean,
yeah, okay. It's time for me to make my point, because you about to, sooner or later, you're gonna have a whole nother different issue going on with the Similac. I'm about to put this one out here so you'll see.
I heard you. I seen you wrote that on there. You said it's a lot of Similac is still going to the people at the border, right? That's what you.
Oh, you seen that? Because that's what the shelves look like down at the border. This is a scene from one of the check-in process points where a lot of Similac are going to people who are crossing over the border. They have plenty of Similac for kids coming in from Mexico and Honduras.
Now, where'd you get that picture at?
It's from here. I can show you exactly. It's from the Border Processing Department. It's from Texas. Who
reported that?
There was one on CNN. There's one on JPEX News. There's one on let me see. There's another one on Texas XIC in Texas, a local channel, like what we would say 19 or channel 9, but it's channel 2 there. These are pictures. That's a picture of Walmart. I can tell by the tags of the pricing. That's a Walmart, which a lot of mothers can find a lower price, a few cents off at Walmart for the product. And people are driving around trying to find Similac, baby formula. But the people at the border, the shelves are okay. And they're making them, they're plentiful. And I know a lot of people don't really care, and it might seem to be unhuman, or like I'm not sensitive dude. But I am gonna say this to you, and I hope you feel the same way. You sound like you do, but you got to take care of your Mr. Lee. There ain't nobody in this planet that can make me believe you gonna put anybody ahead of your family. You ain't gonna put nobody ahead of your family.
Well, Well, hold on, but we've always been doing that. America's always been doing that until
No,
COVID hit.
that
We didn't
ain't
know
that
how
ain't
much money
never
they were sending
that ain't never
overseas, but
been
they
your
had no money
decision.
for us.
That ain't
So
never
this
been
is
your
this
decision.
is a thing that America's been known for, right?
Well, that's never been your decision. If we had our way, think about it. If we could make decisions on where our tax dollars was going, do you think $40 billion last night would have been approved to send over to Ukraine when we got all these issues going on right here in America? We're over $51 billion in a war that we have nothing to do with. And you can't tell me
how much?
51, it's like $54 billion. We 13 billion in, and they just approved another 40 billion last night. And here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Look at the people who are making the decisions of sending another 40 billion over to another country, and look at how they benefit. You don't think that these people, you think this is a good Samaritan move, right? Who think that it's a good Samaritan move? Who don't understand who gets paid for war? People get paid for war, okay? And
no, they didn't stop the $2 trillion that got sent for the Iraq war, right? I mean, people are complaining about that too. They're still gonna do what they gonna do.
I'm just saying that there's a reason why.
I know.
There's a reason why. And
now, if that's such, and those Similacs are over at the border, and that it's needed home, yes, something should be done.
Absolutely. And that's where we always gonna agree. That's where we're always gonna agree. But I'm trying to tell you that if you, and this is what I want everybody to do.
If those been there, I mean, really, okay, so it's just now being reported. So nobody had a general, and I'm saying this, nobody had a general idea that they were lacking this long.
That they were what?
That they were lacking in formula this long.
Mr. Leader, things like that happen. Things like that happen. There was recalls. There were situations going on. But my point is this. You should always take care of home first. You should always take care of home first. We have
like, what's going on with that?
Do you know how much money? Do you know how much money is being spent for that border situation down there? You don't know because nobody puts it in front of you. Because it's not being reported by the mainstream media, and there has to be a reason why. Do you know every time somebody crosses the border illegally and they come in the country, do you know that their court dates are pushed back 6 to 7 to 8 months and they get a cell phone?
So, okay, say they fixed the border problem. That's not going to fix our problem.
Oh,
that's
our problem.
Another issue.
You don't understand. You don't understand. You ain't even seen the problem of the border yet. That hasn't began yet.
No, I'm saying it is a problem. It's always been a problem.
What do you? Let me tell you something.
That is a problem.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you.
Treat us what they give us.
Hold on, Mr. Leader. Hold on, Mr. Leader.
I mean, they just teach us to hate somebody they hate. That's it.
Let me just say this.
They still don't look at us the same. They still will never look at us the same.
Let me say this to you, Mr. Leader, before it get way over there. Let me just say this to you. Let me say, we haven't began to see the crisis of what the border. They talking about the people coming over, but you haven't seen the repercussions of those people coming over here yet. And I know that sounds nasty and it sounds heavy and bad, but what I'm telling you is this: you don't see, you know, all that shit that you talking about unions in the factories and stuff like that. You see how bad it is now with you feeling like the unions are screwing you over and not paying you what y'all was getting paid in the 80s and 90s? Imagine when you
No.
Excuse me?
I didn't say 80s and 90s.
No, that's when they were getting the money. That's when they were getting the money. That's when the factories up in Detroit was getting paid. That's when Michigan was thriving with black dollars. Brothers and sisters was working in the factories in the 80s and the 90s, buying homes and property, buying small businesses to rebound off of.
There was a lot of layoffs in the 80s, though, so you can't say that when Reagan got in.
Well, that's because Nissan Datsun, the foreign car became a little bit more became more popular. That's because they allowed China to bring a car. Japanese cars hit America in the late 80s.
Hold on, but did we have to buy
That's not the point. That's not the point. There were still people making. There were still people.
We don't say the whole picture. The only reason why we lost jobs too is because American people bought the shit. If they didn't buy it, then you couldn't sell it over here. So just say the whole thing.
You're right.
People don't like it. It's the whole truth.
Yes, you're right. We funneled we supported the Japanese vehicles and the German vehicles and all of that. We supported it. But let me just say, yes, but it's still okay. Even when the competition came in from the Japanese companies, the unions had the brothers and the sisters up in Detroit still getting paid, regardless of the competition that was coming in. You understand what I'm saying? And what I'm telling you is this:
the CEOs still get paid, right? Am I correct?
Everybody get paid. Everybody get paid.
I'm just saying.
The janitor,
so
the CEO.
Mad at them that they got their people paid?
Excuse me?
Just like the CEOs got their people paid.
You didn't. You're not letting me make my point, because we gotta go back to what we were saying about at one point when you're getting paid and you doing some things and the company may not agree with it, and you got 4 people putting one light bulb in, or you sending people home because the union contract says they still gonna get paid whether they putting cars on the rack out there or not. What happens is companies take losses by being in those type of contracts. Now, let me just say this. What do you think is going to happen with the union contracts going down like they are now? What you complained about is the new people are coming in, right? They coming in and they're not getting the same kind of money like they used to, right? That's what you're saying, right? What do you think?
Old workers did it.
Okay, that's because they have been grandfathered into that pay rate. That's why. But the new people aren't getting that top shelf dollar. What do you think is going to happen when all of the illegals finally come into this country, get a work permit or a green card or a legal or to become legal? They have no education, and all they can do is come over there and negotiate or be part of your unions and are willing to work for less than what you're willing to do.
I ain't never seen a Mexican at the Ford plant or the GM plant I worked at. Give it some time. Most of those jobs are nepotism, or that you have to get somebody in there, right?
I'm about to tell you something. Where do you think these people about to land when you bring in 1.2 million a year over? Where do you think these people? You think they just gonna go off and live in the desert? They shipping these people to cities now. Where do you think where do you think the
Where are they working at? But they're working in factories that Americans don't want to do, or they're cutting grass. Where do you see them at, for real? Where do you actually see Mexicans?
The ones that are crossing the border right now are not fully effective in America circulation right now, because they can't. They're still going through the court process. They can't. But they're getting a debit card with money on it so they can eat. Are you getting one? Are you getting a free cell phone? No, I pay $300.
I've got one.
Okay, well, I don't, and I'm an American. I'm an American, and I pay taxes. And you're gonna give other people free food and free cell phone? I can't get that.
Oh, so you suggest starve them?
No, I suggest you get here the legal way. And when you get here the legal way, there'll be a process so you can fit into the American culture. You don't just come.
I know, but what's the legal way? I'm interested on that.
The legal way is you go through processing, just like some of the people that live in my neighborhood. I got a Mexican, not a Mexican, but his family is of Indian descent on one side. Then I got a Mexican across the street. These are guys that have come here legally, and when they get here legally, they pursue the American dream. I have no problem with the American dream to be sought. I have no problem with it. Matter of fact, I don't even have a problem with the people that are crossing the border. I have a problem with how they're doing it. I even appreciate the fact that they're running to this country damn near killing themselves. It shows you how stupid people are to sit here in this unbelievable, beautiful country and take it for granted and bitch and complain about everything. And you got people actually sex trafficking and dying in water, alligator infested water, to get here, and jumping out and drowning to be in this country. And you got people sitting back not even appreciating it. And there gonna be some people that get here and they damn near kill themselves to get here, and they gonna damn near kill themselves to be the best that they can be when they get here. I can't help but respect a person like that. But there still has to be a process. There's still a process of how you do things. And when you do things illegally,
I understand that, and that's true. And unfortunately, if that was the case, you wouldn't be calling a whole bunch of politicians Biden and his son and whoever. I wouldn't be. They just get away with what they get away with.
Let me read this comment right here, because Jenny said it, and that's my girl. She's a queen as well. She said, Hispanics don't need the Ford plant. They are creating their own empires. Well, they don't create their own empire when they first get here. They're going to go to the Ford plant. They're going to come cut your grass. They're going to stack their money. They gonna do everything they supposed to do to create their own wealth down the line. And how I know that is the gentleman who cuts my grass now started out working for the guy who used to cut my grass, if you understand what I'm saying. Now he has him a little riding mower. He came out here so many times at the house, and he did the landscaping and everything. I told this story before. That brother, he can't even speak English. He can't speak English that well.
The Americans are the new blacks, because we did that too before.
The Americans are the new blacks. What you say?
That's true.
You mean Hispanics? The Mexicans are going to be the new black. But what a lot of people don't understand is more than Mexicans coming in.
Whoever, family was family. Shit, they stuck together and they worked together and they created together. We don't really have that too much now.
But see, when I said that, people jump my ass because they say that I was saying that the Mexican. What you saying, Wyatt? That the Mexicans better than I didn't say that. What I'm saying is when you got somebody that struggle and they get to their land of freedom, they gonna treat it a whole lot different. They gonna respect it a whole different.
That's true.
Yeah, well, when I said it, they wasn't saying that was true.
Everybody would, they would stick just like the Italians when they came over. They stuck together. That's true.
Yeah, well, what's up with us? I'll let you.
We're trying to be like the people, the white people.
You think so?
A lot are. Yeah. What are you trying to achieve? What is the American dream? It's a white dream, right? It wasn't a black dream, but it's an American dream. And who owns America? White people.
Well, I mean, so then that means Mexicans coming here to be white. See, that don't make no sense, Mr. Leader. Come on now. You can't say that.
Saying again,
the American dream is.
As we grew, we sort of separated from family too, because then you got the ones who are successful, then they, turn their nose on the ones who weren't.
See, now,
for not being successful.
See, now I got to say something about that. See, let me tell you what somebody said to me. It wasn't even that they said to me. Let me tell you something that Oprah Winfrey said one time that I have to say, I didn't.
Does she have any black people in her audience?
I don't know. I don't know. But one time Oprah said something that she said it before I was ready for it. Okay. And I don't follow Oprah and nothing. I just remember certain things from certain people. Denzel, I remember things that Denzel say. Shit like that. But Oprah said something one time. She said, money don't change people. People change when you have money. Like people around you change. And I wasn't ready for it. I didn't understand what she was saying because I just seen her as a person who don't pump her own gas. I remember she didn't even know how to put gas in a car when they showed her and Gail on a road trip. And I'm like,
exactly. So you just proved my point. So if you're a black person and you made it, then people around you change, right? And so those black people that didn't make it with you, they change, right?
Well, hold on.
It's the same thing.
Hold on a second. I said I didn't get it when she said it. Because I didn't get what she said because I had this particular cynical mindset of since she's black and she's made it that she's out of touch. That's what I was thinking. And that's not always the case. Because somebody says something who's a little bit more advanced than me and I don't get it, don't mean that they have a problem. It might just mean
so you separate yourself.
It might
you're
mean
you're separating yourself from people who don't have the money or the mindset you have of getting the money.
And that's not no. What I'm saying is this. It might not mean that she is like trying to look down on me because I'm not ready for what she say. I could say some things to my daughter right now, to either one of them, that I know my age and I know their age and I know at a certain age they should already know something. If I say some things before they're at the age of knowing certain things, I can't say that they ain't worthy of knowing that information. It's just before their time. They don't need the information at that time. I didn't really understand what she was talking about until I got to a certain financial point. And that don't mean that I'm now looking down on people. It means that sometimes information is just before you're ready. Sometimes you get information before you're ready to get it.
No, here, you're right about there's a lot of people who make money and their success and don't look down on people, but you do have a lot to do. So, and unless we break it down individually, you know what I'm saying? So there are people who are humble and then who are successful, hang around successful, and they're still the same person. But then there's people who do change, and I really their attitude is stank.
Well, let
I'm
me
not
just.
talking about
You,
you. I don't know
you're right. There's
everybody,
some
but
people,
that's the
but
truth.
I
But
know
then
some
when
broke,
you making
stanky
it,
attitude
and
people.
you around people, but if you're around people that make money, right, and you say that, or you get the business ideas, then you no longer hang in the street
Yeah,
with the other people,
yeah.
right?
See, you know what? Let me just say this to you. See, that was part of my problem with my wife. My wife. I'm gonna be
What?
honest. Can I be honest with you one time, Miss Delita? Can I share my experience with you? Ain't nobody listening. It's just me and you. All right.
Okay.
My wife
Go
had an
ahead.
issue with me because I'm from 1335 John Street, down, right down there by Lynn and all that old shit. She has a issue. She had a issue with me in my day that I was such a hard worker and shooting for excellence and all this old shit, and I was looking to be a CEO, all the shit that you strive for. And then when a level of success came, she didn't understand why I still had my same buddies from who I grew up with. Some of them, not all of them. I'm saying some of the ones that weren't doing as good. And I'm like, just because they're not financially doing well don't mean me and this individual don't have the same, we're not like we're the same person, we just doing different things. And a lot of people feel like sometimes they feel like people step off because they think they better than somebody. No, sometimes people step off. I'm gonna say we. Sometimes we as individuals who are trying to level up, we step off of situations and away from certain people because we those other sometimes those people just don't know how to stay clear of what they've always been involved in. And then you have to evolve yourself and say, hey, look,
Right.
it
I
ain't got nothing to
understand
do
that.
with me thinking I'm better than you, but I'm better than this shit that you doing. I'm better than that, and I
I
can't
get,
get
yeah,
caught
and you're
up in
right,
that.
but you're true. If somebody's bringing you down or making you feel bad, no, you don't need to be around them. I get that part.
Yeah,
But
but
I'm
but but
saying there are some people who are uppity. I ain't saying
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. No, no. Yeah,
So
there's some uppity people.
I'm
Listen,
not saying you, and I'm
but
not saying there's just
I
it's some
know,
that are.
I
It's
know.
not
You're right.
everybody. It's some that
Shit,
are.
I would be a fool to
And
say that.
sometimes people focus more on the bad than the good. You know what
I,
I'm saying?
I do.
Like with the news, there's a lot of good black people, but they'll focus more on the bad. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
that's what the
But
news.
if you don't
That's what the news is
help the
for.
bad, huh?
That's what the news is for. Now you slicing everything thin, Mr. Lee. When do they cut the news on at 11 and they start with a great story? And it ain't got to be a white person or a black
Well,
person.
you know
The
why
first
people
story is going to
look
be
at bad
breaking
news though? It's
news.
because they probably going through bad things
Well, what I'm
too.
saying to you is when you cut the news on and it's breaking news at 11 o'clock,
And
it's
how do they
always,
make their money? By watchers, right?
yeah.
So if everything was lottie dottie, a lot of people probably wouldn't watch it. That's
Well,
I mean that's
let me
true.
use the podcast world, the little bit of time I've been in it. Let me express something and explain something to you. We get our most views after some reckless shit didn't happen in our community or happened somewhere.
Exactly.
That's when
Right. But
everybody want to
you
tune in
still
and
need to
hear.
take care of it. I'm just saying as a community, like I put it as a body. You know, your heart can be doing good, but your kidney can be fucked up. Now, if you don't pay attention to your kidney, it'll fuck up everything, right?
Whoa! Did
Now,
you say
if
that
you're a
word?
part of
I've
that,
been
if you're a
holding
part of the
back.
community, if you
I've
want to be
been
a part of the
holding
community, you
back.
gotta look at that shit.
I've been
You
holding back.
gotta look at
Did
it.
Miss Delita? Could you put Miss Delita back on the phone? Somebody didn't put somebody. Who is that on the phone? Who they didn't put on
I
the
go better
phone?
look like your ass, so no, just saying. They do put
Hey,
okay, look.
go ahead. I'm gonna let you have the last word. I gotta get out of here, girl. It's almost 8 o'clock.
I'm sorry, but
The
I don't
hell?
know.
It's
Keep
been
being
8.
positive. I like, it's just gonna be hard to change.
It
That's
ain't
all.
hard to change. It ain't hard to change.
It's hard to
We
change people.
Yeah, well, you got see. Here's the key. It's not hard to change. What's hard is to find people who want to change.
What's the difference?
Well, there's a whole lot of things that we know we need to change in our life, right? But that don't mean we want to change it. There's a lot of people right now that say, I know smoking ain't no good for me. I've been smoking for 20 years, not me, I'm just saying in general. I've been smoking for 20 years, and I know I shouldn't be smoking. But I'm so addicted, and I can't stop.
Oh, well, yeah.
I can't I can't stop smoking. And they find themselves wanting to stop, but they can't. They have these habits and they have these things that they just can't stop doing. And listen, that's just how it is. You have to surround yourself with people who generally want to be better. Not want to be better because shit is fucked up for them right now, but they want different in their life. They want different in their life. And my problem is I was.
So, and it's okay, if you got a family member, you got several family members who probably don't want difference, do you disconnect from them?
You know what? I'm gonna give you an honest answer, and I'm gonna tell
Mm-hmm.
you from my experience. I have cut their
Mm-hmm.
asses off. Family members, yes. Now, if you're talking like my daughters, no, that's too intimate. That's too close. But like cousins and shit, oh hell yeah. Now that would
Well,
mean
see,
we ain't gonna
okay,
never
look,
have no
I'm gonna say this one
conversation.
thing. I'm gonna let you go, and I understand why you do it. But I had this thing about even with my family. I was like our grandmother, and she passed away years ago, 20 over 20. But she had gatherings, right?
Mm-hmm.
She had family things, and all the family got together. We didn't care where we worked at. She didn't care what you had or if you're criminal, nothing. Everybody got together,
Mm-hmm.
and as a family. And now we focused on what you have, what you don't have, and what you're doing. And I'm not gonna invite them over. And so that's what
That's different.
changed too.
That's
I'm just
different.
saying.
Yeah, that's a
I'm
different
just
type of
saying.
that's a different type of not messing with them no more. I thought you were talking more in the realms of people that are not trying to do better for themselves and they holding you back from doing what
No,
needs
no,
to
you
be
shouldn't
done.
do that either. I'm not saying
Oh
that, but I'm
yeah,
saying
I
that
have
a
cut.
lot of families they got to know each other when they got together at family gatherings.
Yeah,
They didn't hang out sometimes, but we knew everybody, and we went over to grandma's house or aunt, whoever threw the thing. But nobody focused on what they were doing. We just knew we were family. And so
yeah.
what you're saying is they equate that into the family now, and they
Okay,
don't invite people over because of that.
I got you. Well, that's
So
not my
we're sort
issue.
of broken
I
up.
don't.
I'm not talking
I
about
would.
like your journeys as far as like your earnings and shit like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
but I'm
I
talking
would
about
never
like the
cut
family,
off.
family.
I would
You equate
never.
the stuff you're saying about not dealing with somebody. A lot of people equated that into their family life.
Yeah, well, see, the only way I would do that is if I had a family member that was on some different shit, like trying to slow me down or stealing from me. I've had all that type of shit done to me. So I've hired family members and they stole from me. And I'm not
Well,
I
I'm
don't
sorry to hear
I
that,
cut
and
them
I know
off.
so everybody
I
doesn't.
cut them off. But am I gonna not look? I've had family
Hey,
members, them same ones that I would.
I won't mention a relative, but I had a relative steal. But what I do is keep my purse in the car, and I go visit.
well, well, you know what? When you hire somebody, you don't feel like you have to watch them or protect your shit. Okay. And when you get to that point, then you've obviously made the bad decision of hiring that individual. I've been there.
Well,
I've
see,
done
I
it.
didn't mention about hiring. I understand that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. I've never
I
had.
didn't mention that
Well,
about hiring. I was just saying, like, on the family thing and how we're divided because, again, we might not have hung back as family or knew them, but when we had family gatherings, which you don't really see anymore, we all got together despite anything that someone was doing. And you don't have that anymore.
okay.
Most people don't even know their first, second cousins and all that other stuff. And that's a
That's
whole
true.
nother subject. I know I jumped.
That's true. All right, Miss Delita.
But
You know what?
I was just saying that because you said, "Oh, I don't be around people when they do this and this and that." I'm like, "But what if it's your family, right?"
Yeah, I don't care. Listen,
I
do
know.
you? Let me tell you something, Miss Delita. Let me tell you something I learned the
Mhm.
hard way. The ones closest to you they can hurt you the most.
I understand that,
You
and
would
you're
never
right.
let a stranger get you the way that a family member can get you. I mean,
You're
they can
correct.
punish you, all right, because you'll never see it coming. But a
I,
stranger,
I
you
agree with
always
you
keep
at
an
times.
eye open and all that. So when you see a family member do it, not only does it hurt once they accomplish what they were doing, but it usually hurts you not just financially or whatever, but it hurts you like, to the heart because you
Emotionally,
just don't
yeah,
think they
I
would do
get it.
that to you.
You're right.
But it's happened, and it's nothing you can do about it. It's happened, and you just move on.
I understand that one. Yes.
All right, Miss Delita, it's been a pleasure.
Okay.
It's been
Sorry
a
I took too
pleasure.
much of your
Nah,
time. You
nah,
have a
I
great
loved it.
evening.
It was a great call.
Mm.
We'll have to do it
All
again
right.
in the next 6 months or so when I can get up, I can recuperate, recover. All right. All right, Miss
Bye.
Delita. I will see you
All right.
soon. Talk to you soon. Thanks for listening. That's Miss Delita. Woo! Goodness gracious. Then she got comfortable. She started out, I didn't complimented Miss Delita. Oh, you sound rational. Rational. You sound like somebody can talk to. You sound sweet. You sound like Mrs. Goodbar. You sound like people can come to you with their issues and problems, Miss Delita. You sound so fresh. 30 minutes later. And them motherfuckers, they can. Where the Wiedemann? Give me a beer. Give me a Wiedemann. You put some on the steak. Them motherfuckers, if they ever, they don't want to pay a motherfucker the right way at their factories. Mr. Leader. Well, I'm like you. Okay. Well, I see we have a little bit more in common, Miss Delita, than I thought. Oh my God, I love her though. I love her. I like that. I like that. Let me make sure that she's still. Yeah, she's still here. There she go, Miss Delita. She says, "So what? I'm me. Yeah, you're a couple people. Shit, you Miss Delita, Miss Goodbar at the beginning. Then you got 100 on me. I ain't mad. I just think you need to look at some other news sources as well, Miss Delita. You can't stick with what they showing you out here. And you got to get up off of saying shit like they racist over there. They lie. That's what your vice president did in order to position herself. She never came up with any facts. She just let people, she did the old school black woman thing. I ain't got to say shit. See what I'm saying? My face tells it out. That's her black woman disgust face. Remember that? She ain't never have to prove that she could do anything. She ain't never have to prove none of that shit. She could just say it. She could just say it. Now, see, I'm going to be honest with you. I used to use the same shit when I was a little boy. I used to have this I don't give a shit ass attitude. And I used to walk in the room when people tell me that my hair was nappy or you don't know. And I still, to this day, have this same attitude. And I want everybody in the next 2 seconds to look at your screen. This is what I think about you when you feel that way about me. This is how I sit at home at night. There it is. That is I. I could give a shit about what you talking about. I could care less. And y'all know Kamala Harris played that black woman syndrome, that black woman role all the way to the White House. She didn't call Joe Biden a racist and all type of shit. And soon as he said, you want to work together, all that shit went to the side. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. And she do that same shit to this day. She looked and screwed it and said, she never said what somebody lied about. She just had that black woman face of, y'all know that lying and shit. Do I have to say anything? This is the same person who told us I ain't taking no vaccine if Trump has something to do with it. And then they get in office 4 months later, 3.5 months later, and beg everybody to take that same vaccine that she didn't talked up bad about on Trump. See, when people tell me something about somebody, I don't care. Let's take it out of the people that we don't know. Let's talk about locally. When somebody tell me to watch out for somebody, and they always be like, man, that motherfucker be tripping. He be this and that. Now, I listen to you. But if I ain't heard it from all these different, if I heard it, I consider the source all the time. I always consider the source. And if you ain't got no substance behind what you saying, if all you saying is what everybody else is saying, I wonder, like, are you just saying what other people are saying, or can you bring something with substance to your argument? Because the only person you've ever described in your life to the public, Kamala Harris, was Joe Biden. You explained how he was racist and signed off on racist policies. You described Joe Biden in your debate, but you've only given us a face about how Trump lied. You've never came up and said, well, he said this and he did this and it wasn't true about that and this and this and that, but I wouldn't take that vaccine if Trump put it out. Wait a minute. Like I told Miss Delita, I said, tell me a lie that news place told you. Oh, you know, they got a bunch of them. Wet my taste bud. Tell me one that they orchestrated, that they created, not what they reporting, because they news, CNN is a news craft. But what have they lied about? What has Fox lied about? Since it was so many, I just need to know, because what you said is Trump was looking for, that was not a lie. Trump was looking for votes out of Georgia or wherever the hell, I think it was Georgia. They had him on the phone. That was not a lie. But I don't think it was what you was thinking, but that's cool. That's another argument. But that's not a lie, because they had it on the phone and the world, the public heard it. So that's not a lie. They reported what they knew and they had accurate. That's journalism. It was in front of you. The proof was there. I detect no lies. What was the other one you said? All the corruption, the things that he did. At what point did you start discovering that Trump was a liar? At what point? Once The Apprentice was over with? Because I know a lot of people in the 90s, early 2000s, if you was a rapper, everybody had Trump name in their music. Everybody wanted to be affiliated with the money. Trump ain't become a racist in the world that we know it as today until he ran for president. Now he a racist. Mike Tyson signed contracts with him. I've done business with Trump Marina in New Jersey. That don't mean that I'm not going to tell him, I'm not going to tell y'all the truth about what I might know. All I'm saying is when a motherfucker called me a liar, you got to give me some substance. What did I lie about? Let's talk about it. Tell me what I lied about. Maybe somebody lied to you about what I said. But if we don't have a discussion, if all you gonna do is put a face up because everybody know. Matter of fact, has anybody found, hold on, time y'all, time. Has anybody found Cardi B yet? I put a request in for her. Any of y'all niggas seen Cardi B yet? Wasn't Cardi B the one that said, vote for Joe Biden? He gonna make your taxes go down. Vote for Joe Biden. He's a good person. I ain't saying that he ain't a good person, but he's a typical politician to me. They all the same. The only reason why y'all don't like Trump is because everybody has told you something about Trump that influences us. I'm just being honest. You can call me a supporter. You can call me all that old shit. I could say some bad shit about Trump. I could say some bad shit about Biden. I could say some bad shit about people that you actually love in politics locally and all that shit. I could say something. The only problem is you might not like it because it's facts. I ain't want to messy a man's or a woman's name up. But I'm being honest with you. I hear more on black radio about Trump than I hear about your current president. Why you ain't worried about what's going on with your current, the person you supported? Why is it so important for you to smear? Okay, do we have to go back to the ex-girlfriend, new girlfriend? What would your new girlfriend say, fellas, if all you talked about was your old girlfriend and how fucked up she was and she wasn't shit, she was a liar? Matter of fact, her mom and them didn't like me. I don't even know why I was dealing with her. And you hear it, you don't want to talk about our relationship. You just want to talk about that last one all the time. But baby, I'm the one fixing your breakfast now in the mornings. Why do you care about what her scrambled eggs used to taste like? Baby, I'm the one who run your bath water at night. Why do you tell me that her bath water was hot all the damn time? Why does it matter to you? Oh, I get it. I get it. Because if you ain't got shit good to say about somebody, oh, we got to talk about what's bad about somebody. I get it. And it's also a deflection. Why do you think CNN talked January 6th for the entire 2021? It was headline news every day. But you got a president in the office making moves, a current president making moves. Making moves, doing what he's supposed to be doing, right? But I can't listen to one show in Cincinnati and they not talk about Trump. One of them is just, that's the way you draw the attention, because it's just a name that it's a trigger name for people to just go in straight chaos agent mode. Oh, shit. You can't talk about that fool, because that's what it is. It's rabble rousing. It's getting people up. For what? Let's talk about the shit that's being done. Let's talk about $51, $54 billion going over to some other country. Let's ask ourselves, why did these politicians, and I'm not talking about just Biden, I'm talking about Congress. Why was it so important for them to rush that money over there so fast? This ain't no Biden thing. Y'all think I give a shit? Y'all think I'm trashing, but I don't trash Biden. I told y'all before any one of them knuckleheads was going to get in office, I'm going to do me. It don't matter which one get in the office. But you really think that these Republicans and Democrats rushed that bill, that $40 billion? You think they rushed that shit through there so fast for nothing? They all will see residuals of that money. You had people that voted for that shit to pass before they vote for money to come to their districts. Make that make sense. Their own districts, which means you and I. I just think we get lost in the sauce of some of these conversations sometimes, guys. I think there must be a reason why people can't find something to say about a current situation. They'd rather talk about who somebody used to be. Y'all never hear me talk about Trump, but I don't talk about Biden either. But if I'm talking about a current issue, I got to talk about the current guy. Like, who's ever calling the shots or running the situation. That only makes sense. Some people still talking about somebody who ain't calling no shots. Still talking about your ex. I get it. If you're only watching certain news outlets that don't let you know what else is going on in this world, I know this is going to sound crazy. It's going to sound harsh. I got to get out of here, but I'm going to say this on my way out. I'm going to say this on my way out. I really don't think Republicans or Democrats give a shit about who come over the border. I think they both benefit from it. I think they both benefit from it. I think Democrats benefit from it in the sense of voters. Now they getting more Democratic voters because everybody believes from Mexico that it's Joe Biden's will to get them there, to get them here in this excellent country. So now they're loyal because Mexicans are very loyal people. They're loyal to the administration that allowed them to come through with such ease. And then here's the flip side. The Republicans feel like it's a great arguing point for the money that's being spent, but they fall back. They really don't give a fuck. They care, but they don't care enough to cause real issues. They're using it as a situation to make Biden look bad in his administration. But the truth of the matter is, they understand what's actually crossing the border. It's more than just drugs and all that shit. Drugs are going to be here regardless. Okay? They looking at it like this. Cheap labor is coming in to work in our workforces. So if Republicans ever get the House back, ever get the White House back and Congress back and all of that, now we can start bringing American jobs back. Now we can start bringing factories back to America and pay lower wages. And we can keep the money in home. Do you know how many plants Mr. Leader was talking about, Ford and all that? Y'all know some Ford plants went over to Mexico. Who you think was working in them motherfuckers? Nobody was shipping they shit from Cincinnati and going over to Mexico to work in those plants for $2.60 an hour. Nobody was doing that. Those was Mexicans working in that motherfucker over there. So what do you think is going to happen to the workforce of labor? You let enough in. Republicans are not stupid. They know that the Democrats right now, by opening up the border, is allowing a whole nother, I mean, just to be real, I don't know how to say this, but a whole nother generation, so to speak, of laborers. We always talk about who got the money, who this and who that, and blah, blah, blah. Where you think some of these ladies that are coming over the border with no education, barely speak English, they're getting money right now from the government, but where do you think eventually they're going to land up in working? They're going to work at hotels. You know what I mean? Respectfully. I mean, they're going to work up as cleanup. What are they, housekeepers? Housekeeping? Respectful job. It's a labor-rated job. Where do you think they're going to land? And then as they grow, they're going to have children here, and those children are going to become Americanized. And then those American children are going to learn the process. And they're going to end up going to college and doing the things, and they're going to take advantage of this full thing called the United States of America. It's a great thing. I have no problem with that, but I just say get here illegally. And it's a pump fake that Republicans have a problem with that border. And I'm just being honest with you. I know that they know that that's cheap workforce that's coming here. And I don't mean to sound like that, but it's the truth. It's the truth. And what's going to happen is this. Black folks going to get in their feelings. Because when you start seeing certain type of loans and grants and shit going to Mexicans, you're going to have a whole nother argument on your hands. You're going to be screaming and hollering about, well, why they treating Mexicans better than black folks? No, they're not. These Mexicans are illegals because it's more than Mexicans coming here, guys. They're just using the Mexican border. Sorry. If CNN ain't informing y'all, I'm telling you now. These folks are coming here to be all they can be. God bless them. Look at how they crossing the water. It's Haitians coming. It's all type of people coming. And they not coming to this motherfucker to be Uber drivers for the rest of their life. They're not coming here to work in housekeeping for their entire life. That's my time, y'all. I'm out of here. I'll see y'all tomorrow. right, AP. Peace and love to everybody. I appreciate you coming to the Wyatt-Live show. See you on the next one.